Sterling, it's 4.
Brad Smith, oh, super ball, and Origi's got a hat-trick.
Galloping into the boxes, Nacho!
And Jordan Ive scores. De Bruyne's cross, Aguero! City head to a major Wembley final again. And Joe Allen sends Liverpool to Wembley.
It is the first piece of silverware up for grabs in England this year, the 2016 Capital One Cup final from Wembley sees Liverpool play Manchester City. Available here on 11 in English, in Arabic on 2, in French on 16 and on 17 in Spanish. And wherever you are watching, whether it's in Australia, New Zealand, if you're in the Middle East and North Africa, or in the United States, welcome to BeinSports coverage of the Capital One Cup final. In the company of Andy Gray, twice a winner of the League Cup, and Jason McAteer, a finalist with Bolton, ironically beaten by Liverpool in a final. Let's head straight over to Wembley and join our reporter, Carrie Brown.
Welcome back pitch side, where I am delighted to be joined by a man that represents all the glory days of Liverpool, John Barnes. John Barnes, do you believe this is the start of a new era under Klopp? He said he wouldn't guarantee bringing silverware when he came, but what an opportunity now.
Yes, this probably is a bonus, because you can see in the league we're not doing particularly well, but it's an opportunity to give the fans something to cheer about. The harmony at Liverpool has been good, because even in the games where we haven't played well, the fans have stuck with him, they trust him. Next season, when he's got 6 weeks pre-season to implement his own strategy, to bring his own players in, we'll probably be a bit more critical. But here is a little bit of a bonus for us, because it's a cup final, a chance to win a trophy, so let's hope we can do it.
Well, right behind me, Simon Mignolet just coming onto the pitch, so a great round of applause. Let's look at the opportunity of Daniel Sturridge coming up against some very obvious areas of weakness in Manchester City in Otamendi and Caballero. Are you surprised that he hasn't gone with Joe Hart?
Yes, I am, but I think that he's made the decision to play Caballero in the Capital One Cup throughout, and because they're in the final, he has kept it to his word, and he's playing Willy Caballero. Of course, it's not Daniel Sturridge against Otamendi. I think that Daniel Sturridge coming back in has helped to alleviate the burden of responsibility for the creative side of Liverpool off of Coutinho. And if you look at what himself, Firmino and Coutinho have been doing in the last couple of games, that gives us hope. But they've also got a problem, obviously, with Yaya Toure, David Silva, Aguero, and Sterling as well. So 2 great attacking sides, 2 suspect defences. So hopefully there'll be a few goals in it.
And you talk about that, you talk about those players, particularly the likes of Yaya Toure, the likes of Sterling, both of them wanting to make a big point. This could be Yaya Toure's last match at Wembley, couldn't it?
Well, yes, but of course, regardless of whether it's his last match or not, it's a cup final and a chance to win. Raheem Sterling, of course, you know, he may get a warm reception from the Liverpool fans, but he wants to prove the reasons he left Liverpool to win trophies. Here's a chance. Had he been at Liverpool, maybe he could have won a trophy with us. But obviously, he'll be trying as well. But as I said, Manchester City, I think, will probably be favourites because of the quality they actually have, but it's a one-off. The Liverpool crowd are fully behind the squad and Jurgen Klopp, so fingers crossed.
The psychology, the boost that Liverpool had from that win in the league, do you think that could tip it today?
Well, until Manchester City played against Dynamo Kiev away from home and put in a great performance and scored 3 great goals and played with a lot of attacking flair. There are 3 previous games before that they hadn't been playing with confidence, hadn't played particularly well. That will also help them. I think Daniel Sturridge being fit, as I said, will help Coutinho and Firmino in terms of the confidence they have and probably being more creative in different areas. So hopefully we can put their defence under some pressure. And of course they've got Vincent Kompany, so that's good news for them, for him to be back. But I'm looking forward to the game.
You've got bright eyes at the prospect of that cup being lifted here in Liverpool colours. What would that mean to you?
Well, I mean, you know, the thing about it is that it will be wonderful for the fans, because for the fans to get a trophy, fine. I'm much more concerned with what happens in the league. The league shows you where you are in your development, how good you are as a team. So yes, it'll be a bonus for me winning the League Cup, but I'm really looking forward to next season once Jurgen Klopp can get his team in, implement his strategy to really make us have a big push for the league.
Well, this is a team that Klopp has inherited, but this is Pellegrini's team that he has moulded. Who will come out on top, the end or the start of a legacy? Join us post-match for all the reaction.
Carrie, thanks very much indeed. You're genuinely nervous, aren't you?
I think I'm playing.
Thank God you're not.
My legs are going. I'm really looking forward to this.
Yeah, I'm not nervous.
I've got butterflies and I feel like I'm playing again.
Yeah, but you always perform in finals, Andy. That's
Well, yeah, it wasn't great for me, finals.
But no, you'll be okay. Come on.
Lost a couple, but never mind.
Get through the first 20 minutes. You'll be all right.
That's what we have to do.
About this Liverpool side, then?
I see similarities in both teams. I think going forward, both teams can be exceptional. They've got each have got a front man, Daniel Sturridge and Aguero, who are brilliant in my eyes, can both score goals, outstanding players. Both have got 3 players, attacking players who can help out, who've got flair, creativity, can create things and score goals as well. Firmino, Milner you throw in there, and Coutinho, Toure, Sterling and Silva for Manchester City. So they can both, going forward, they can both hurt each other. For me, defensively is where both teams are struggling this season. Liverpool, weak. Liverpool, Sacco, the only recognised centre-half. Lucas has only played twice in that position this season, both in cup games, Augsburg and in the FA Cup. But Otamendi, Company's 1+ point for Manchester City. But Otamendi, for me, he's an area that Liverpool need to exploit, and they've done that fantastically well at the Etihad earlier on in the season. Liverpool, they got the ball forward quick, they got it into areas to hurt Manchester City, they pushed them back. The movement of Sterling and Firmino on that day was outstanding. That's where they won the game. They need to do that again today.
OK, we are nearly at kick-off time at Wembley. It is the Capital One Cup final. There is the trophy. Andy's had his hands on it.
Well, it was just for the wrong team.
Kick-off is just around the corner at Wembley. Liverpool, Man City coming right up.
Man tuition, it's your trusty inner sidekick. It's got no time for kindling. Woo! Now we're cooking. Your man tuition doesn't need instructions either. They're just spares. And it knows exactly when to bet live with Sportsbet. Just tap your selection, key in your stake, and confirm. Nailed it. Bet live with Sportsbet. Now, who needs an armrest?
Sorry.
Oh, my word!
If Carlsberg did kickabouts, they would probably be the best in the world.
There is no continent existing where I have not witnessed the ball being kicked, hit, caught, or thrown. It's like I'm standing right there on the sidelines watching.
I am a member of the world's favorite
online sports betting company.
I am a member of Bet365.
Gamble responsibly.
Cheese and Great returns Friday night, 1700. Look ahead to next weekend's action. Today's action is at Wembley. Vincent Kompany leading out Manchester City in search of that trophy, which in 2013 was in their hands. You look at someone like Lucas, you're worried about, him at the back. Can he not be a Mascherano, someone who can drop back into that role and prove to be as good there as he might have been in that midfield?
Not for me. I thought he struggled the other night. He got pulled out of position quite a bit. He nearly cost Liverpool a goal with a short back pass, which the Augsburg striker got on the end of, but it is a gamble. I mean, Touré's on the bench. I don't know why he hasn't gone with Touré. He is an out-and-out centre-half, as we know, but he's decided to go with Lucas alongside Sacco, and that is an area of concern for me.
Yeah, I'm a bit surprised at that, I have to say. I know we've just seen, watching the Premier League game earlier today, we saw a Michael Carrick drop from midfield into the back four against Arsenal at Old Trafford and play particularly well. And I can only think, Jason, that they've done it because of that man there, the number 10, who's got wonderful movement, quick as lightning, doesn't look at but look lightning quick over the first 5 or 6 yards when he starts his movement. And Lucas, I think, is better equipped to deal with that sort of thing than Kolo Touré. I think it had been a big centre forward, they might have picked Kolo, who's not as mobile. But I think Aguero's all about movement, and I think that Lucas is probably, in their eyes, better across the ground than Kolo is, and I think that's why they've gone for him.
I think the thing for Barcelona, what you mentioned here about Mascherano, is they have the ball that much. Mascherano doesn't really have to do that much defending. I mean, it'll be a busy afternoon for Lucas tonight. I agree with Andy, you know, the movement of Aguero is great. And I just think there's a lot of action just in behind Aguero as well, with Sterling and Silva, and I think Lucas can get pulled out of position, which he did the other night in the Europa League game. It's just an area that concerns me.
And you know, it's no surprise that the coaches are concerned, Angus, as well. We've got a galaxy of forward-thinking footballers here. You know, Firmino, Sturridge, Coutinho, Sterling, Yaya Touré, Sergio Aguero, David Silva, all talented. But perhaps the most significant players in this game might be Jordan Henderson and Emre Can for Liverpool, and Fernando and Fernandinho for City, in the kind of protection that they offer their defensive units. So those four players have got a massively important job for their teams if they want to win it.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be upstanding and raise your back to create the right support for your teams as we now sing the national anthem, led for us this afternoon by classical soprano Annalise.
Well, Jason McAteer's cousin is just about to sing the national anthem. There is some talent in the family.
I was going to say, she's the talented one of the family.
I knew there was a reason you were here.
She's done well, isn't she?
Very good. Good set of lines. So, that is the Liverpool side, which is the same side that beat Augsburg 1-0 in the Europa League. What we've seen so far today is those Europa League sides played on Thursday, winning on Sunday.
Correct. So that means one's due for a defeat. No, the trouble with Liverpool right now for me is either feast or famine with them right now. You know, they're capable of doing what they did at the Etihad, what they did at St Mary's, playing wonderful, blistering attacking football. They're also capable right now, until Klopp gets his team that he wants and the way he wants them to playing poorly. But then again, I guess Jason could argue that Manchester City probably just as guilty of that.
Yeah.
Well, City make one change themselves after they beat Dinamo Kiev 3-1 in the Champions League. That is Willy Caballero coming in goal for Joe Hart, who drops to the bench. The risk?
Well, yeah, I mean, he's not been in great form, has he? He played in the FA Cup, didn't he? So hopefully he's got a bad back from that game. It'd be a good little battle today between Sterling and Klein. You know, we're looking for little battles. Andy was just suggested there.
That'll be interesting. I don't think they'll line up like that. I think Fernando and Fernandinho will be the two sitting players. Yeah. And I think Sterling and Silva will be the wide players, and Yaya will just be offered that opportunity to do what he does best.
He's a liability, isn't he? If he was to play in that position,
he wouldn't fancy it.
Defensively, he can be a liability.
But he's the one. I mean, if I was Daniel Sturridge, I'd be getting fed up reading about what a good player I'm going to be or I could be. He needs to. And he needs to start playing football regularly. And he needs to start influencing big games on a regular basis. And this would be a fine place as far as Liverpool are concerned for him to start today.
Well, in 2001, Manchester United beat Arsenal on this day. And in the League Cup final, Liverpool lifted the trophy.
Wow.
Let's hand over to our commentary team today at Wembley, Peter Drury and Jim Beglin.
This time last week, he was losing at Chelsea the first leg of his potential quadruple. It's become now a potential treble. The referee, Michael Oliver, a native of the northeast, still only 31. He was in charge for Liverpool's last Wembley date when they lost to Aston Villa in an FA Cup semi-final, and City's last Wembley date, which they lost to Arsenal in a Community Shield. Planes, trains and automobiles, they have been flooding down from the northwest today. Not a spare inch of motorway, not a spare seat in any train. And they're making a wonderful din. Depth of resource, depth of history, depth of ambition. However you measure them, we have two of English football's giants here. Liverpool with a history which renders them hungry for trophies. City with a wealth that renders success obligatory. And there is James Milner. Quickly on for Firmino, who ran into Fernando.
Yeah, and Liverpool, it looks like, going to set up with Henderson playing alongside Chan, deeper in midfield. And obviously Sturridge, who's trying to get on it now, up front with Firmino just behind, Milner from the right, and Coutinho from the left-hand side.
Firmino, Sturridge. Moreno's first there. And Caballero had to wrap it up.
Yeah, well, he had a choice once he got on. It was a lovely little flick ball by Daniel Sturridge. And he either goes for the goal like that, or he hangs it up far post and maybe gets Firmino in on it. Probably ambitious from that angle. Caballero will be pleased with that touch as well. I mean, I know it wasn't the most difficult save, but for him, just give him a little more reassurance.
A settling moment for the Argentine understudy. Here's Sanya. Notice again that position being adopted by Fernandinho.
Yeah, and Fernando's just got his head to that, Peter. And I think we are going to see Yaya Toure play a little further forward. So it's almost like 4-1-4-1. And I would imagine at times, as was the case in Kiev, that Manchester City will try to apply a press of their own.
Moreno caught up with Fernandinho. And it's Liverpool's Spaniard who got the decision. Fernandinho, who scored the first City goal of their semi-final second leg comeback against Everton. After Barkley had Everton 2 ahead on aggregate. And we were staring down the barrel at that point of an all-Merseyside final, which didn't come to pass. Forward from Sacco. Milner out-jumped by Sanya. Away by Company. Here's Sterling. You'll know when he's on the ball because he is receiving the full vitriol and disapproval of supporters who once sung his name in Liverpool red. Henderson. Firmino. It wasn't that he left their club, just that he did so a little messily. Played such a major part in the team that seemed so close to being champions a couple of years back. Firmino. Coutinho. Sacco. Coutinho. Chan. Shot on by Moreno. Yeah, Chan claims he was blocked deliberately by Fernandinho. The referee is not interested. There's a little kind of run inside. Yeah, Fernandinho does stand in the way, but Chan just ran into him. Sanya preferred again to Pablo Zabaleta at right back for City. He's played in 4 of the first 5 League Cup ties of this season. Sturridge looking to roll it in towards Coutinho. Yeah, Liverpool the more progressive from the start. Seem to be kind of pinning Manchester City back a little bit more, and as yet Manchester City haven't really constructed anything that will take them forward. And, you know, we're all talking about this beforehand. It's a tough call. I mean, a lot of the league meetings in the last few seasons have been very open, exciting affairs, full of goals. But this, you know, after kind of European progressions, FA Cup exits, uncertain Premier League form, you're not quite sure what you're going to get. In a sense, it was at Manchester City that the Klopp brand was launched in Liverpool terms with that fantastic 4-1 win towards the end of November, which you might argue set the bar impossibly high for him, and then quite been able to match those standards, at least with any consistency since.
I think that's been the Klopp's strength, you know, against the supposed better teams in the league. I think he's very good at suffocating them, stifling their game, and then picking them off. We've seen that on a few occasions.
Moreno's throw. Firmino. It's a nice take from Milner. He's necessarily closed down by Clichy. Klein. Henderson. Klein. Rolling off Sterling. Firmino. Klein. Coutinho. Klein was furthest forward. He'd sprung the offside line, but the pass had just too much on it.
There was a little impression of Ronaldinho here from Coutinho, because he looked the other way as he flicked this back. Klein continued his run. It was almost perfect, not quite, but cheeky by him. But he's that kind of player. He just turned his back on it as he flicked it. Audacious.
Knows he was close to achieving something a little bit special on a special day. Lucas, Chan, Henderson, by Sanya, large at the back of Fernando by Henderson. Silva, Sterling. Well read by Lucas, but not so well cleared. Clichy. Toure, who lit up the 2014 final with a wonderful goal. Clichy's ball in for Sterling, who's got over Lucas. And Manchester City have their first genuinely offensive free kick of the game.
Yeah, and he stepped across Raheem Sterling. Lucas, and referee has to give that Manchester City's way, and the first real pressure we've seen from them.
7 minutes into the 2016 Capital One Cup final at Wembley. Manchester City, the winners last but one, with their first chance to impact here. David Silva in charge of the dead ball. Daniel Sturridge, Liverpool's one-man wall. By Sacco. Fernandinho, it's an audacious try. Always high.
Yeah, and always tough those, because the key is actually just getting the upper side of the ball, and it's hard to do that when it's coming out of the air and you've got so long.
Sacco. Coutinho was quickly swarmed. Lifted forward again by Fernandinho, but in advance of Aguero, who's indicating he wants it on the floor.
Saka got a bit lucky there because Fernandinho gave it straight back. And that's not the best from Liverpool either.
Emre Can, the offender on this occasion. Firmino caught on it by Fernando. Otamendi aware that Sturridge was beyond him. Here's Toure. Silva tackled by Chan, moved on by Henderson. Bit of space ahead of Coutinho. Rolled up with a view to Daniel Sturridge getting away from company. The Belgian wasn't having it.
Yeah, and you know, another sign of company's strength and his ability to read it and anticipate. And he knows that Daniel Sturridge is on another level again, and he's got to be kept. Well, he's got to be kept watched for the 90 minutes. Simple as that.
Sako. Firmino, counted out by Otamendi, met by Lucas, who got up well. Henderson. Sturridge is several yards offside and so can't pursue that.
Just looking at Aguero, he seems to be kind of pulling onto Lucas at times. And I just wonder whether he feels that maybe Lucas sometimes might be a little slower in reacting. Kun Aguero, with that low centre of gravity, must feel that he can turn and get away from him.
Line too tight at the back of Sterling.
And every time Raheem Sterling is booed by the Liverpool fans, he should use it as motivation, because when the sides met his first crack at his old club in November, he hardly saw the ball that particular evening. And I think there'll be much more determination for him to impose.
Toure bursts between would-be tacklers, invites Sagna forward from fullback. It's Sagna's cross, well met by Lucas. Firmino got a push from Fernando, and Liverpool have a clearing free kick.
Yeah, I think he was worried about the space behind him, but Toure did well, got a little bit lucky in the tackle. It's a very, very good ball across from Bakary Sagna. That's a good way to start your crossing. And Fernando, cheap free kick.
Lucas. Firmino and then Milner. Those 12 minutes have elapsed without too much of note. Even players very well versed in playing major games often take a while to settle on the big occasion. That is the case here. Here's Fernandinho, though, looking to skip away from Moreno. Squirts kindly into the arms of Mignolet. It was quite gratifying, actually, to see how early the supporters of these two great clubs were around Wembley Stadium this lunchtime, 4 or 5 hours before kick-off. Two clubs who are very well used to coming to the National Stadium, but evidently there is considerable universal excitement at the prospect of the final of this competition.
I was amongst both sets of supporters on my train journey down from the northwest, and there was a real buzz on the journey.
Firmino, Milner, Coutinho. From Otamendi. James Milner is one who certainly won't be booed by the Manchester City supporters. They are, and always were, very appreciative of his efforts on behalf of their club. He was an unused substitute in the final 2 years ago, stayed on the City bench. Coutinho. Firmino, Moreno. Sanya was where he needed to be, and Fernandinho cracked it against Milner.
Yeah, and that's why he won't be booed, Peter, because of work rate like that. I mean, Manchester City fans know while he had a spell there, Milner, although happy at not playing more regularly, he gave everything he had.
Well, that sums up, but indicates the degree of his frustration during his City years, that he was a substitute, unused both for this final 2 years ago and for City's FA Cup final against Stoke 3 years prior to that. Aguero.
That's well read by Lucas. Yeah, I mean, when you're up against the likes of him, he's so good that your senses should be heightened, sharpened all around, and I'm sure Lucas is feeling that way. And
he's begun the game well, hasn't he, Lucas?
Yeah, he has.
He's got another test here with Aguero at his back. He and Mignolet dealt with that okay. Coutinho bullied off it by Toure, his company. Side into touch by Moreno.
Yeah, who wanted a free kick for the challenge, his compatriot David Silva.
First settling quarter of an hour or so for Jurgen Klopp. Bob Paisley won this, Joe Fagan, Roy Evans, Gerard Houllier and Kenny Dalglish.
No pressure then.
Not quite. Let nobody tell you when you mention those names that this competition is anything other than a first-class prize. Worth mentioning perhaps in that... Oh, there's a nasty clash. Chan has gone down holding his head.
Yeah, Sacco.
And so has Sacco.
Misunderstanding, and I'm not sure whether there was any communication between the two, but it's just an accidental clash of heads. Chan going backwards, Sacco aggressively coming forwards, and that's the result. Horrible.
That will hurt, and evidently has. Chan would appear to have come out of it the worse. Looking decidedly groggy. And as is often the case when there are a couple of injuries together, Liverpool being helped out by City's medical staff. Sacco needing particularly close inspection.
And Kolo Toure just warming up, as you would expect.
It was quite jarring, wasn't it? It was a sharp contact without compromise.
Yeah, and you can only assume that in the circumstances. Sometimes you don't get enough time to get a shout in, but I don't think Chan heard anything from Sacco because he didn't try and pull out of it.
Well, Sacco only joined the competition in the second leg of the semi-final. That's, until today, his only contribution to this run, whereas Kolo Toure has 3 competitions appearances this season. Sacco would appear, at least in the immediate term, to be okay. Sterling's. Time has the throw. Lucas. It's a loose touch from Chan. Aguero pounced. Lucas helped Chan out. He might still, the German, be feeling a shade groggy. Sacco, in the short term, has the same excuse. He needs to have his wits about him here, faced by Silva.
Yeah, just watching the movement of Coutinho there, he's trying to kind of draw and Sanya to follow him inside a little bit, and then Daniel Sturridge is taking a position up on the left-hand side. So they're trying to work Manchester City out of position a little bit at times.
Torres still keeping warm. It would seem they've got quite an attentive eye still on Mamadou Sakho. Coutinho, nice little touch from Chan. Sturridge from wide. Leaning away from Toure. Rolled up between Milner and Firmino so that Kompany can snatch it back, but his pass is off target too, and Klein has played it early. Sturridge was interested, but Clichy saw it back to Caballero.
Yeah, I just wonder, you know, had Sturridge got a foot to that, whether the flag would have gone up. It looked as if he was just half a yard off.
Caballero, all 5 League Cup ties this season, conceded 6 goals, no clean sheets, 3 FA Cup ties as well, last of which he conceded 5 in one batch. There's 2 games in the Premier League and 9 minutes of Champions League football at Juventus before Christmas. Silva.
That's another good challenge from Lucas.
Sterling. Henderson was not letting him pass whatever it took. And Sterling has won Manchester City a free kick.
Yeah, I think there's a little fire in Sterling's belly that he wants to just show what he's really capable of. Lovely little nutmegs coming inside, and Henderson didn't like that. And you can understand what happened thereafter.
Oh, fabulously competitive, it's what we love to see. It's a free kick for David Silva again.
Yeah, Liverpool zonal across the 6-yard box. Manchester City looking to get a run on that.
In by Silva, well out by Lucas. And if he lacks anything as a centre-half, it's probably inches. He's only 5'10".
Yeah, I think what we've seen so far, he's probably been the best player on show.
Silva. Aguero. Lucas holds him up. Henderson away. It's well worked by Chan. Firmino. Milner. Away past Clichy. Otamendi gave it back. Milner. Firmino. Just too much for Coutinho, but Moreno skipped to it before Fernandinho. And the Brazilian's been penalised. Not the first coming together of those two.
No, I think you'll see plenty of that. I mean, we saw Moreno chase back with Fernandinho earlier, and I think he knew that he knocked the ball quite far ahead of him, and he probably wasn't going to get on it, and very little contact. Well, it wasn't the greatest attempt at a challenge from Fernandinho.
Klein. Milner. Henderson. Chan. Coutinho. Away from Fernandinho. And worrying Sanya and setting it back for Sturridge. Now Chan. Smooth series of Liverpool passes. Klein. Milner's offside. Must have been tight. That was nice from Liverpool.
Well, yeah, I think we saw that sharpness against Augsburg in the Europa League, and certainly we saw it at the Etihad. Fractionally off.
Silva for Aguero. Away from Lucas. Away from Sakho. Aguero has hit the post. Mignolet, I think, applied a finger. In which case, a brilliant save.
It is. It's an absolutely super save from Simon Mignolet. Well, he's just looking to pick a spot in the end, and Liverpool were completely caught, and Mignolet has rescued the situation, and Liverpool needed it big time. I mean, a suspicion of offside again, but I think he probably deserves the benefit, and that's that turning ability. Sacco just lost his balance, and that afforded a little more time for Aguero to pick a spot, and he tried to, but Mignolet read it, and that is stunning.
A wonderful save from a goalkeeper who has certainly had his critics this season. Indeed, in seasons before, he applied more than a finger. It's a good, strong lower hand. And Sacco, who again lost his bearings as Aguero ran at him then, and seems himself intent that he could go on, is reluctantly being withdrawn here. An apologetic, sympathetic hand from his manager, but he's not for cheering right now, Mamadou Sakho, and so we're going to have brothers against each other in the cup final. Jurgen Klopp is trying to get through to Mamadou Sakho why this needs to happen. He is the most human of managers, Jurgen Klopp. There are a lot who would be keen merely to concentrate on what has to happen, but there is a very human dimension to the German who wanted to explain to Sakho why he was taking this course of action.
Yeah, clearly he was concerned after we just saw it again. We just saw another replay of the clash with Emre Can, and they didn't feel he was right. And when he did cut inside Lucas Aguero, I think they probably would have felt Sakho could have dealt with it, and he didn't. And he's rather cross that that decision has been made. He feels that he is okay to go on, but I think they were pretty worried on the bench.
Well, when he's angry beyond angry, almost irrational, in a sense, it makes Klopp's case for him all the more, which is not to be unsympathetic with the player who just wants to be a part of a major occasion. One feels profound sympathy for him, hidden away behind his coat there. I'm sure there'll be no ramification for his throwing of the bottle. There'll be complete understanding. But rightly, there's a lot of scrutiny about head injuries at the moment. There's Sterling. Here's Silva. Aim back for Clichy. Aguero. Toure. Aguero's run was checked, and Mignolet could gather.
Yeah, he kind of just had a little look at the referee to see if he was going to get something in Aguero, but Klein hadn't really impeded him. But I just think it's just roused Manchester City. I think that Aguero chance just seems to have stirred them a little.
Coutinho, Can, Firmino, and again Firmino.
Yeah, well, the first attempt was to find Coutinho, and didn't manage that, and I think he just thought, well, I might as well try my luck second time round, and it's just technically he just doesn't get himself in a good body shape.
To leave the recent task behind him, Jurgen Klopp, and concentrate again on the task in hand.
Just kind of watching Manchester City, and we saw it again there. I think worried about Klopp's tactics and the fact that Liverpool might just squeeze them high. They've knocked a few balls long, so they're not prepared to get caught out like they did back in November again. I think that's kind of helped David Silva's cause so far. I think it needs to be played through midfield to allow him to actually get on it. And if they can start getting him on it with more regularity, I think you'll see a more creative Manchester City.
Toure. Emre Can. It's a nice thought. And they played it for Sturridge. Yeah, Sturridge kind of looks at him a little crossly. As you were hinting earlier, Jim, in terms of Liverpool's whole front line, he's altering his position intelligently. Sturridge is cropping up on either side. His movement is anything but predictable. And it's lively of mind.
I just think that when he plays for Liverpool, there's just a higher calibre involved, and he just gives Liverpool another dimension, an extra cutting edge. There's no doubt when he's at his best. Otamendi spoke about Lucas at the other end, and he's just changed his position, by the way. He's gone to the left side where Saka was playing, and Otamendi's looked quite assured alongside Company at the other end.
I must say, I thought Otamendi had one of his very best City games in Kiev in midweek. He was terrific in the Champions League. Those two as a partnership were firm. Gala on the bench today. Dimichelis is there as the alternative centre-half. Both alternative full-backs also available should Pellegrini need them. Zabaleta and Kolarov. Sterling, Toure. Clichy. Anderson with important defensive work. Raheem Sterling, 23 goals in 129 games for Liverpool. He was their Young Player of the Year in 2014 and 15. They wanted him to be one of their own, ultimately. Didn't turn out that way. £49 million said something different. Chan won the battle with Otamendi. Henderson sifted it out for Milner. Milner up for Sturridge. Clichy's partial clearance came to Henderson. And now here's Moreno. Sturridge. Chan. Henderson. Decent space here for Klein, who escaped Sterling. Milner. Moreno. Sturridge. Face to face with Sanya. Held up by Fernandinho. He's kept the ball though. And he's tumbled just the other side of the line.
Yeah, the contact was outside the box from Fernandinho, and he seemed to go down in stages after that, Daniel Sturridge, but certainly from outside the box initially. There.
They went down as if pondering where it would be acceptable for him to fall.
Yeah, we just saw the little flick of the foot from Fernandinho, and it was clearly just outside the box.
Well, City have had a couple of these, and now Liverpool have one. Free kick wide of the penalty area. Milner and Coutinho conspiring. City have set a two-man wall. Firmino nearest the goal line. Chan in the 6-yard box as well. Milner. Coutinho! Lucas was closest to it of all people. But the flag has gone up.
Yeah, Toure's on the far post as well. And just kind of deceived everyone. It was just too much pace on it. And I think with Lucas jumping in front of Toure didn't help him, but obviously the flag was up anyway.
Silva. It's a fine retrieval from Chan, who's grown into the game after an uncertain start. Firmino, Chan, a lot of space for Moreno. Sturridge through the middle. Sanya across to meet. Moreno, no foul by Fernandinho. Toure, Silva.
Well, that might have been inside the box and he fell out, but I think the referee felt he was just exaggerating it, Moreno. It just looked a bit theatrical from him.
Toure, Silva, Sterling. Raheem Sterling belts it against Silva and behind.
Yeah, Silva was just hoping for a little slip ball, and that's why he made the run. And instead it smacked into him. But just watch, he just wanted a little kind of threaded ball through there, Silva, and I don't think he was best pleased. And when he turned back inside Moreno, there's no real attempt to stick a foot out. He's looking for that, Alberto Moreno, and I think the referee is right to ignore it.
Well, there's enough in the game.
Yeah, there is. I think Manchester City look better defensively, not just with Kompany and Otamendi, but I think they've been quite compact and certainly getting plenty of numbers behind. Obviously, Aguero's had the outstanding chance at the other end, the only time we've seen a lapse. Otherwise, Liverpool have looked pretty good at the back too. And it's not been like the Premier League games we're used to seeing in recent times, where it's all been ebb and flow. There is a kind of a caginess to this.
Fernandinho. Aguero, Lucas is clambering all over him.
Yeah, he's got to be careful doing that, Lucas, because that's a surefire way of picking up a yellow card. If not now, then possibly next time.
Toure's free kick, Fernandinho. Toure. Fernando for Silva. Sheep, Sterling.
He's playing piggybacks with Nathaniel Klein there. Klein got in the way and then fell to ground, and Sterling practically ended up going for a ride on his back.
Well, he can't expect Klein to give way. It's Klein's throw. Henderson. Firmino moved on by Henderson. Coutinho. Moreno. Henderson. Sturridge. Milner. As soon as he played it was offside.
Just the touch here from Daniel Sturridge there. As soon as that was made, he was going to be flagged, James Milner.
First time these clubs have met in a League Cup final. They have met in two notable semi-finals, most recently 2013. Liverpool won that and went on to win the competition against Cardiff, 2012 I should say, and prior to that, way back 1981. And goals from Ray Kennedy and Kenny Dalglish saw off City, and Liverpool went on to beat West Ham in a final which went to a replay. Sterling got it back from Silva. Milner tracking back. Yields a corner.
Yeah, an immediate trigger as well for both centre-backs, unsurprisingly, to move forward. Otamendi and Kompany. City's first.
Yeah. First of the game, 38 minutes in. And Kompany has wandered forward for it. Silva whipped to the near post. Kompany competing for it. And Toure dabbing it behind for another one. Silva once more. Came all the way through to Aguero. He was outnumbered 3-1.
Yeah. That's what you call being smothered. Throw. Fell into Moreno's boot. Sturridge couldn't escape the clutches of company. Hoiked up high by Clichy. Turned into a half-decent ball, actually. Fernandinho on the end of it. Aguero looking to twist. Silva seeking a path past Touré. And the ball disappearing behind.
Yeah, and Aguero probably now just needs to realise that any time it's fed to him, he's being swamped really quickly. So he needs to be clever and offload it a little sharper himself.
Any thoughts as to the nature of the conversation there between Jordan Henderson and the referee? People weren't happy about something.
Well, listen, it could be one of those situations where you're always needling a referee in the hope that he'll give you a decision down the line. Jordan Henderson's not shy when he needs to come forward, you know, and he's often vociferous around referees. So, you know, it could be something along those lines. Just keep it shut. Let me be. Alternatively, I could have got a completely wrong picture.
Well, no, I mean, Henderson is A, the captain, and B, as you say, he is a talker. Chan. Moreno. Coutinho was too clever for Fernando. He didn't do that much more than stand his ground, though he stood it pretty firmly and physically.
He just didn't see the flick.
Firmino. There's no way through Touré. It's come back to Henderson. Change from Company. Milner on Touré.
I would think, just looking at Manchester City, that they've sacrificed some of their attacking fluidity for a more kind of rigid defence today. I think they knew, especially after November, the fear of that being repeated, and I think they've been very, very careful in how they've organised things, and they've coped rather well.
Klein. Sturridge knocked off it by Otamendi. Here's Aguero. Silva. Aguero.
No, that's not a good challenge from Lucas.
And it is a free kick to Manchester City, which Lucas disputes, despite the thoroughness and vigour of his challenge.
Yeah, well, it's hard to say whether Aguero is kind of just playing on a little bit more, but he didn't need to go to ground then, Lucas, and he committed himself.
And he is having a very thorough game, Lucas. He really has his heart and soul in it. He's been asked to do a very specific job by his manager, and he's pretty sure he's going to do that job.
Yeah,
whatever it takes.
Yeah, I mean, there is contact. I think Lucas was trying to make out that he just kind of slid down the side of Aguero, but he's late on that. That's not a good challenge. And unnecessary. You know, he didn't need to commit himself then.
No card.
I think he's gotten away with one.
It's dead centre, but it's a long way out.
But it's Yaya.
Yeah. And scored spectacularly in the final 2 years ago.
Yeah, that's not a long way out for him.
Drifted in by Yaya Touré, met by Otamendi, who has himself gone to ground and earns nothing but a corner.
Yeah, well, James Milner has ended up hurting himself. Once this falls to Otamendi, maybe he could have been quicker. But I think Milner's just got eyes for the ball now, and he's not trying to take out Otamendi. He's just trying to stop the ball, and I think that's simulation.
Sterling's overly deep corner.
Firmino away for Klein. Klein high and to safety. Sterling with the most awkward task of taking a set piece from down in the corner there in front of Liverpool supporters who weren't making his life pleasant.
Yeah, and I think you've seen Sterling at times in the end trying to get past Nathaniel Klein, who he knows is a very good athlete and quite quick. And instead of kind of using a trick and a little bit of pace, he's actually just looking for little 1-2s inside to try and get around the back of him.
It's the last minute of the 45. Word is we're going to have 2 added on. Respect of the stoppage which occurred after that clash of heads, since when poor Mamadou Sakho very angrily has had to go off.
He may just have calmed down by now.
Milner. Away from Fernandinho, on by Chan, on by Sturridge. Coutinho nicked away audaciously by Sagna, and now taken up by Fernandinho by Silva. Lucas Klein.
And when you look back on the Aguero chance, and it was a great save from Mignolet, but it wasn't quite inside the post, was it? I mean, he gave Mignolet more of a chance than we expected him to. And I take nothing away from Mignolet's save.
Well, but that was the moment of the half so far, the goal-scoring opportunity, really. Lucas. Moreno. Good block by Otamendi. Milner, no way through for him. Out by Company. Toure. Chan and then Firmino biting at them. And City with a clearing free kick. With the header out. It's come down for Henderson, seconds of the first half to play. Milner. Sturridge. Skipped away from Otamendi. Saw Firmino. Coutinho, Firmino. Klein. Milner. Henderson. Half-time. Not a bad game, a somewhat attritional first half in the 2016 Capital One Cup final at Wembley, the moment of which was a strike from Kun Aguero, which was splendidly parried onto his post by the Liverpool goalkeeper Simon Mignolet. That aside, plenty of strong personal battles, a very watchable contest, but one which still awaits its spark and its moment. Half-time at Wembley, Liverpool 0, Manchester City 0.
Half-time report could do better, I think, for both Liverpool and Manchester City. Just the one shot on target in that first half from either side. That was Aguero's. Andy Gray, Jason McAteer here with me watching the first cup final in England's of the year. Yet to ignite. Goalless at the break at Wembley. Later tonight, Barcelona have the chance to extend their lead at the top of La Liga. They're at home against Sevilla in Arabic on 3, here on 11. French in 14 and Spanish in 17 if you're in the MENA region. Andy Kerr will be back with Trevor Francis for that. As it is, we're concentrating on the Capital One Cup final at Wembley. Goalless at the break. How are Liverpool getting on? Jason McAteer.
And breathe. Yeah, 100 mile an hour, wasn't it? Full of commitment from Liverpool, desire, endeavour. Not a lot of quality, though. You know, we talked about getting the ball into that final third, the Manchester City final third, where Liverpool, you know, you'd expect them to do the best work with Coutinho, Firmino and Sturridge, but they've been a bit wasteful when they've had the ball. They've tried to get it forward far too quick. Good start from them, first 10 minutes. You felt they were on top, little flicks and tricks into Sturridge, into Coutinho, things coming off, but no end product. As the game's worn on, City have got back into the game. They've been a little bit more patient with the build-up, and you just feel when they get into Liverpool's final third, something's going to happen. Not a lot of shots on target. Probably the best chance has fell to Aguero, who's obviously pulled out a fantastic save from Mignolet. But yeah, we highlighted at the beginning of the programme about both defences probably being the Achilles' heel. Both defences have actually been on top. Exactly, they've played well, both defences.
You're talking about your front four.
If I'm Manuel Pellegrini, what am I thinking at half-time? I'm looking at that first half and I'm thinking, OK, I'm happy. In respect that Liverpool haven't really caused my defence too many problems. We've grown into the game. The one thing I would say, they're a little lopsided for me. I mean, if we were to take a sample of all their attacks, everything's coming down Raheem Sterling's side, everything. And I just said to Jason there, I wonder if that's because they were so worried about Alberto Moreno, the other side. We thought Silva would play wide. Fernandinho's played wide. And I think that's purely to block off Alberto Moreno's raiding down that side, Angus. And what it's caused City just to be a little one-dimensional with their attacks, and that they're all either central to left. And I think I'd try and vary it a little bit second half. But, I mean, it's been a poor final, if we want to be honest about this. But I think both teams seem to me to be more concerned with not losing the game, rather than let's go win it.
Do you know what it reminds me of? Do you know what it reminds me of? We played Manchester United in the '96 Cup final. It reminds me of that, where both teams kind of cancelled each other out. Like Andy said, it's more of we don't want to lose it rather than go and win it. I do think it'll open up in the second half. I think Andy's made a great point there down the right-hand side. Moreno loves to raid down that left, and I think that's why Fernandinho has gone over there to stop that. But I like Andy said, I'd ask the question the other way. I'd maybe put Silva there and ask Moreno the question, do I go forward now? Do I leave myself?
Switch him over.
Or Sterling.
Switch him over.
I'd ask that question now. Obviously, I wouldn't, because I'm a Liverpool fan and I hope it stays like this, but it's a question Pellegrini can answer by doing that.
And I think if you're Liverpool, I mean, the one thing you do, if I look at that Liverpool side, have I seen enough from Daniel Sturridge? Not really. Have I seen enough from Roberto Firmino? Not really. The only one who's flashed at times is Coutinho with little flicks and tricks, but not really in the areas of the football pitch you want him to be making his little killer passes. So I'd be looking, if I'm Jurgen Klopp, for more from those three in particular, because those are the three players who are going to open up Manchester City, if anyone.
I think the problem with them three players, you could throw Milner into the mix there as well, but he's doing a lot of running off the ball, getting back and helping Chan and Henderson when City have got the ball. Where they get their big success, them three players, certainly Firmino, Coutinho and Sturridge, is they play quite close together. There's a lot of interplay, 1-2s coming off each other. They seem to be too spaced out at the minute. Daniel is starting to drift deep, which suggests he's not getting a lot of the ball. He wants to get on it and do something. Then he's leaving a lot of space up front where there's no one there. So they need to get together, be a lot closer and intertwine a lot better. That's where they get their success. They're not doing that at the minute.
We had one chance on target in that first half. That's it. Good save, though, as you said.
Yeah, the slip from Sacco obviously opened it up for Aguero. And as soon as he slipped, we both said goal, didn't we? You just fancied him. But it was a good save onto the post.
It's what Mignolet is good at. I mean, I have to say, he may be suspect at crosses and the ball's coming into the penalty area from wide areas, but he's a good shot stopper. He gets a good position. You can see that halfway out of his 6-yard box. It's a good position to have, but I think the little magician gives him a chance, because I don't think it's right in the corner, Angus.
You see from this angle, Andy?
Yeah, I think he's been sure because he's hitting the target. I also think, and I was surprised that he didn't go on, once Sacco had fallen, I fully expected him to take another touch so that it took him into the penalty area a little bit closer, and by doing that would have made the chance easier for him and much more difficult for Mignolet. There is a question of whether he's offside or not. It's borderline, but it's allowed to go. But as soon as he goes there, another touch, because
he's still
Lucas
struggling
is not
after
getting
that, isn't he? Yeah,
Lucas isn't getting round. He's picking himself off the ground. Another touch just now would have taken him that much nearer the goal, and then he could have picked either side. I think he made his mind up really early. I'm going in that corner.
And the other thing that come from that,
great save, mind you,
was the substitution of Sacco.
Well, Sacco looked like he was unsteady on his feet there. Obviously, he'd had a big bang on the head, but while his legs may be comical in what... Look, you watch him there.
You can. There's a lot going on in that shot there. I don't know if we're going to see the shot where it's isolated and you see him. It might be for this. If you just watch him, watch what he does here. Oh, the legs. That's like a boxer when the legs go, isn't it? And they just all over, like Bambi.
We have to be careful about concussion, Angus. Most other sports are taking it really seriously. We're trying to in football. Now, they're obviously concerned about him, and they're rightly to be concerned about it, because it's a terrible thing, concussion. It can be really dangerous. If he were to play on and get another bang on the head, you just don't know what would happen. Of course he's distraught. He feels he's okay. He wants to go on. It's a cup final. I get all that. But they've made a decision, I think, with the doctor. That was the doctor?
That was the doctor, yeah. That's the doctor.
I think they've made a conscious decision that, you know what I mean, you're going to have to come off here, because we're a bit worried.
You have to. You don't get the luxury like you do in rugby, where you can put a replacement on, go and assess him, and then if he's fine, then he can go back on the pitch. You have to make a decision right there and then.
Yeah, and I think with rugby, the modern-day sport now, there's a big thing about a concussion. I mean, I remember playing in a playoff game for Tranmere, and I went for a header, got kicked in the head, and I played another 10 minutes. With a bump on my head, like from Scooby-Doo. It was out here. And I don't remember playing that 10 minutes.
Somebody told me it was the best 10 minutes I've ever had.
Yeah. And no one noticed you had a lump on your head.
I got asked. The doctor said to me, do you know who you are? And I went, no. And he told the bench, and the manager shouted on, tell him he's Maradona, he's all right. But it's dangerous. It's very, very dangerous, yeah. They've made the right decision. They've made the right decision.
Yeah. However upset he was. So, goalless there, but we just have a chance to show you the goals from Valencia today, where just as things looked like they were turning a corner for Gary Neville, he's hit a U-turn because they've been beaten 3-0 at home by Athletic Bilbao.
Oh, what a ball that was. That is a fantastic ball. No, this is not a good result for either Valencia or Gary.
No.
Don't want to do that there.
You know, this is a thumping at home. You get beat 3-0 at home in the Mestalla, you know about it.
It'll just turn again, won't it, now, because he probably thought he got them back on track. Was that 4 wins, and then this goes and happens?
Yeah, 1-4.
Yeah, this has brought him right back down to earth. And
that was 3 goals in about 8 minutes.
That's right. Second half minutes, and that's the way it finished, yeah.
They're not shy in voicing their opinion at the Mestalla when they're not happy.
They'll be doing that again. And, the Nevilles may be at the brunt of it all. OK, that's Spain. This is Wembley. And it's the Capital One Cup final. Goalless in that first half. But those Old Man City faithful will be hoping for better times in that second half. We are at Wembley for the Capital One Cup final in the company of Andy Gray and Jason McAteer. Manchester City 0, Liverpool 0 at half-time. What do you want to see more of from Liverpool in this second half, Jason?
Patience in the final third. Just keep the ball, get men around Sturridge when it goes into him, preferably Coutinho and Firmino. But yeah, stop being wasteful when they actually get in there and giving the ball straight back to Manchester City. I know the possession stats are obviously saying Liverpool are up on the possession, but they have been very wasteful in important areas of the pitch.
Benches important in a situation like this, Angus. They often win football matches in the modern era because of the choices you have. Liverpool have decent options, Benteke, Lallana, Origi, good options. I think less so City, less so. So that might be important. That might be important.
Let's head back to Wembley, rejoin Peter Drury and Jim Beglin.
One-off final. 15 of the first 49 required extra time. Will this one be decided in 90 minutes? 1997, Leicester against Middlesbrough was the last one to be afforded a replay. That is no longer available option. There must be a winner this evening. Remember, the winners are guaranteed a place in European football next season, which ought not to be an issue for Manchester City. It might be for Liverpool. Company forward and Toure out, and the early second half thoughts of Jim Begley.
Yeah, I think defence is in the first half generally on top, apart from the Aguero chance. I think we've seen that with Liverpool under Klopp, when teams have sat back in numbers, they found it very difficult to break an opposition down. And I think Klopp will be looking for certainly more. I think from Firmino, Coutinho and Sturridge, they have the ability to improve upon things. And of course, getting this fella on for Manchester City, I think, is imperative. David Silva.
Silva's found Sterling. Support behind him from Clichy. He's rather clubbed that cross.
That's poor quality. I mean, he'll be annoyed with himself. And as I said, you know, Manchester City, I think, did sacrifice some of their attacking play just to make sure that everybody was doing their job defensively. And they look much improved in that regard. So Liverpool have got to find the wherewithal to break that down. And likewise at the other end, Manchester City, similarly.
Firmino, Coutinho. Firmino, those two do enjoy each other's company. Moreno. Toure. First half substitute, in case you're joining us late. A first half substitute for Mamadou Sakho. Now by Clichy and Sturridge. Again, Chan. Moreno. Chan. Push away from Firmino. Into the chest of Klein. Support from Henderson. Oh, it's a comfortable read for Fernando. Chan took some of it back, but Silva has it now and was quick to spot Aguero. And Aguero can take on Lucas and side it high and wide.
Well, we know he's capable, but that time he might be just a little greedy. He could have actually put his foot on it and just looked for the support, because there was enough inside if he just held it up. You know, and again, a little kind of glimpse of the fact that he looks as if he wants to pull off on Lucas more often than not.
Liverpool's form coming into the game pretty good. They haven't lost any of their last 5 games in 90 minutes. Did lose an FA Cup tie in 120 against West Ham. There's Aguero. And Fernandinho through Mignolet. City lead. Sheer force. Fernandinho's drive, which Mignolet knows he should have repelled. And it is Manchester City who draw first blood in the 2016 League Cup final.
Well, I mean, moments before, Aguero went at it himself. This time, he chose not to. He's just waited for the run. He's heard a shout on the outside from Fernandinho, and it's a perfectly weighted pass. I'm sorry, Simon Mignolet, as good a save as he made in the first half, that's a huge error to let it slip under him near post. And you know, he might kind of look back on that and think, well, he could have stood up and saved it with his feet even, but trying to get his body down and over it, he's just afforded a gap that shouldn't have been there.
Pellegrini sees the sparkle of a trophy. Simon Mignolet would rather close his eyes. And Jurgen Klopp requires his team now to come from behind. Fernandinho, the man whose semi-final goal sparked City's comeback, sparks them again in the final at Wembley.
Great desire from Fernandinho as well. Great determination. to make the burst, demand the ball, and he got a little bit lucky. But listen, if you don't buy a ticket and all that.
And could they not say to him, I appreciate it was a tightish angle, so he didn't have a lot of option, Fernandinho, but there are striking coaches who tell you to shoot quite close to the goalkeeper, that area which sort of bypasses the dive.
Yeah, listen, I was no great goal scorer, I can assure you, but anytime I did get in a position like that, it's kind of almost you close your eyes and you go for power, and you hope the power will be enough. It shouldn't have been enough, because Mignolet should have saved it. Even with the choice he made in trying to get there, he should have filled the hole.
So Liverpool have it to do. Their supporters knocked back. City's now vociferous. Wind in their sail. Moreno, though, for Liverpool. Firmino broken up by the goal scorer Fernandinho with support from Fernando, and now Toure driving on. Fernandinho. Aguero through the middle. Silva for support. It's just, funnily enough, about to open the mouth and say that Liverpool came into this game not just in reasonable form, but off the back of 3 consecutive clean sheets. 2 of those against Augsburg, and 1 in the 6-0 drubbing of Aston Villa last time out in the Premier League. But today's sheet is no longer clean, and here's the reason why.
Yeah, and I'd imagine Manchester City, Mignolet will be kind of going over things in his head now, and his concentration might suffer. So I'd imagine Manchester City would like to put a little more pressure on him in the next few minutes.
Toure away from Aguero. Forward again from Fernandinho. Tapped forward by Sagna, out by Lucas. Toure's touch for Clichy. Clichy's touch for Sterling. Clichy again. Sterling's gone over, and having waited to see what would accrue, Mark Oliver has awarded a free kick, and he's going to show, I think, his first yellow card of the afternoon to Nathaniel Klein.
Yeah, who tried to kind of look perplexed about that, but he's late, and he stands on Sterling. And you can understand a yellow card being brandished for that.
In by Silva, well touched by Mignolet, something to re-fortify his confidence.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, he'll feel a little bit better about that.
Fernandinho, suddenly the deepest man for City. Milner, Coutinho, turning to face Fernandinho, against whom he ran. Surely not expecting too much from the referee for that.
Listen, I mean, I kind of say it regularly, Peter. I think when you watch it, Coutinho here knows that he's knocked the ball quite a distance, and he's not going to get on the end of it. So he's just using the fact that Fernandinho is there as a reason to go down. Fernandinho just does nothing.
Chan, Firmino, Sturridge, Firmino, lost too much of Sturridge. Fernando broke it up. Silva stopped by Emre Can.
The little combination play, we saw 1 or 2 glimpses first half from Liverpool up front, but it's not really kicking in enough. And I think when you look back on Caballero in the first half, that shot early on from Moreno across him, that's all he's had to do, really. Liverpool have got to start testing the Manchester City goalkeeper.
Klein. Sacco has calmed down. Won't necessarily have a better underlying feeling than he did when he was furiously withdrawn during the course of the first half. because his team now trails. And he will be feeling that desperate feeling of helplessness that all supporters have. Nothing he or they can do. Plenty of time for the remaining Reds to contribute to a turnaround here. Sturridge. Nick through for Milner, who was well patrolled by Otamendi.
Yeah, but just look at Milner's reaction. I think that says a lot. I think it's a great little link-up with Sturridge here, and then a lovely flip ball through. And he's annoyed with himself, Milner, because he had a chance to get that on target and he didn't achieve it, you know, despite the attention behind him.
Lucas away from Aguero. Sturridge. Toure. Moreno. Well played. Coutinho. Out by Company, chased up by Klein, twisting his Sturridge. Still got the ball until now. Silva. Toure. Sterling and Toure. It's a poor giveaway by Clichy. Henderson. Milner. Firmino offside. Unnecessarily, really.
Yeah, I agree. A little over-eager Firmino. He needed to just hold his run a little bit. And because Clichy, with that's an awful ball. Gave Liverpool the opportunity to produce a little more there, but sorry, that hastiness costly.
Firmino was amongst Liverpool's scorers at Manchester City in November. Has 5 goals in his last 6 Premier League games. 2 against Arsenal, 2 at Norwich, 1 against Sunderland. Milner. These two do meet again in the Premier League at Anfield on Wednesday evening. That game will be played fairly obviously very much in the context of this one. Coutinho. Klein. Trying to find a route round Sterling, who wouldn't let him escape, but does allow him a corner.
Yeah, it's good work by Sterling, and, you know, all part of the job.
Coming up to the hour at Wembley. James Milner with Liverpool's corner as they seek to retrieve a deficit here. Milner with depth. Chan couldn't get up high enough. Coutinho retrieves. Moreno. Coutinho. Between the legs of Company. Chan. Out by Otamendi.
Well, with crosses like that, it suggests maybe that Benteke might need an introduction.
Wouldn't be at all surprised to see him if Liverpool are still trailing into the last 15-20 minutes. He wouldn't want to be described as a Plan B striker, he'd rather be Plan A. But he is certainly Liverpool's live alternative. Coutinho, and again by Company. Soon perhaps to start pondering getting his hands on the trophy for a second time. Clichy, Toure, Sterling ahead, Silva ahead, Aguero ahead. It's David Silva for Manchester City. Raheem Sterling has put it wide and denied himself a personal moment of moments.
Indeed, and you wonder what kind of bearing that might have on the outcome now, because probably the best move that Manchester City have put together. Little fortune the way it squeezed through Kolo Toure's attempt to deal with it. It should have been 2, and it isn't. And I just wonder whether Manchester City might pay for that.
on the day of a major final to deal in pettiness, but if Liverpool supporters get nothing else out of this afternoon, they will have that moment in which they are currently revelling.
Yeah, and I guess maybe his position and the fact that he's been booed all day, whether it just played with his head, because he didn't really show the composure you would have expected then, Raheem Sterling.
He'd have scored it 11 times out of 10 at Melwood. And indeed, one suspects in almost any other fixture at any other time. Firmino, Klein, Henderson beyond him. Liverpool having been retrieved. And Henderson's won a corner, and the Reds are lifted, in a sense, by City's misfortune. Milner's driven take, repelled as far as Coutinho. Hoisted back in by Klein.
Breaks
by
on
Fernandinho. Toure, if he sees Aguero running from inside his own half. Aguero. Moreno's challenge was clean.
Ooh, I wondered. It's because he's gone around the back of Moreno. Moreno stuck his leg out, and I wonder whether there is a little bit more in this. Just watch it there. He does trip him. He does trip him. I'm surprised Michael Oliver didn't give that. That's a penalty because it's reckless. It's really reckless by Alberto Moreno, and Liverpool have dodged one there big time.
And Pellegrini knows. Clean in the view of Michael Oliver. Moreno, I suspect, knows it's a rather guilty look.
Well, let's see what's happening.
I wonder, Jim, forgive me for making a suggestion, I wonder whether when the referee sees the ball change direction here, he thinks that was Moreno's touch of the ball rather than Aguero's.
Look at his position. He's only a few yards away. He's got a perfect view, and I'd be surprised if he got a little confused. Yeah.
That's 2 reprieves in 3 or 4 minutes for Liverpool, who ought to be out of the final by now.
Will it be Oliver's twist? Who knows?
Already mentioned Fagan today once.
And there's the overlap from Fernandinho, who probably, if he's honest, when he did shoot, he's expecting the goalkeeper to get something on it and not expecting it to go in. And he's been rewarded for his determination and great desire.
Not a moment that Simon Mignolet will recall with any fondness at all. Having been, one ought to say, Liverpool's hero in the semi-final shootout against Stoke, he's the reason they're here. Sturridge, Coutinho, Sturridge.
Just when Liverpool kind of need the accuracy now in the incision, it hasn't been provided.
Silva, Fernandinho, goal side of Moreno, who this time is penalised.
And he's going to be booked. Yeah, and you know, I mean, he's caught out of position, because if Fernandinho is getting in that position behind him, and he's not tackling from a good place either, and it was an easy decision for the referee to give that.
So that's both of Liverpool's fullbacks having seen yellow. City have scored once in the second half. They should have scored twice, and indeed ought to have had a penalty which could have made it 3. The game still in the balance, unless Toure or Silva can tip it surely irretrievably in City's favour here. David Silva. Shade too elevated.
Yeah, I mean, Mignolet, I think, read it. You know, he's on his way across, and I think had it been low enough, he might have just got a hand to it.
Scored in midweek in the Ukraine, David Silva. For Pellegrini, who, whilst perhaps a little disenchanted by recent refereeing decisions, must be pleased that, broadly speaking, feels as though his team are in command of the final, though 1-0 is never complete command. Firmino. Not by Clichy. Sturridge, Henderson, Klein, Henderson, Chan, Clichy clear, Toure necessarily aware of Aguero, forward by Henderson, Company, and now Sagna away. Sagna was caught by Coutinho after the ball had gone.
Again, I don't think there's anything deliberate on Coutinho's part. You know, he's just trying to kind of get a block there. Sagna did release it downfield and then kind of kicked into Coutinho. But usually the clearing player gets the decision, even though kind of the momentum of his leg goes into his opponent.
Somewhat cumbersomely. Prevent from going behind the line. Fernandinho. Milner. Up by Fernandinho. Milner. Henderson. Toure. Klein. Milner. Company aware now. A Liverpool change, and an interesting one. Adam Lallana here is coming on for the left-back Alberto Moreno, who is, of course, one of those on a yellow card, and who's had more than one alarming moment, particularly in this second half. Adam Lallana, his replacement, who's now played in every game of Liverpool's League Cup run.
And it looks like James Milner is going to play at left-back.
Yeah, that's how it's shaping. Full-back position is not completely alien to him. It's not either his position of choice. Coutinho, Henderson, Klein. Lallana denied his first touch by Clichy. Flags up against Firmino.
Yeah, and that's been the issue throughout for Liverpool. It's just, you know, trying to find that penetrating pass, that precision, and trying to stay onside.
Klopp has been involved in a handful of finals in Germany with Borussia Dortmund. His recent record in finals hasn't been great. There are triumphs on his CV.
Yeah, Lallana from the right and Firmino pretty much now kind of in there with Daniel Sturridge and the freedom to just play by instinct.
Lucas Milner. Coutinho. Chan. Klein. Little pocket of space here for Henderson. And had he located him, Lallana was in a promising position for Liverpool.
Yeah, spot on. And they're having an exchange now. Lallana's just kind of uttered something across. And his skipper, it was just overhit on his part. I mean, I think the idea is absolutely perfect. And he's onside too, Lallana. But it's just, it's overcooked.
Lallana, who scored certainly the most melodramatic goal of the Liverpool season so far, which caused Jurgen Klopp to break his glasses at Norwich. Goal of 9 that day at Carrow Road. Klein turning out of trouble. Lallana running into it. Toure, Silva, Sterling. Aguero is wide. Receives from Sterling and darts infield. And has a pop. Kicks up kindly for Mignolet.
Didn't really have the venom that he would have liked behind it.
Henderson, Lallana. Fernando had a hand on his shoulder. And was going to be booked for it.
Yeah, well, I suppose the referee has grounds to issue a yellow.
When I say a hand on his shoulder, I mean a hand round his neck. It's a free kick for Liverpool into the final quarter of an hour. Milner. Firmino.
It's just kind of just a little loss of concentration because he's just drifted beyond and he's not really kind of thinking about where Manchester City's defensive line is, and they've caught him. Company just stepped up last minute. It's good play. Henderson again vociferous now, and Klopp needs him to be cajoling, trying to just keep everybody enthusiastic, and the energy level's good and the concentration up there.
Chan. Lucas allowed it out. Manchester City have to win trophies. It is an obligation now, given the 21st century magnitude of their club. And they're within a quarter of an hour of another trophy here. Lallana. Sturridge, nice taken turn. And he's moved it on for Milner. Milner's cross. Scratched away by Fernando.
Yeah, I think if he'd been naturally left-footed, James Milner, I think he would have been a little bolder.
Milner. Nicked in towards Lallana, who again adopted a very clever position. Aguero is clear of Toure, but the ball has skipped away from him.
Yeah, that's been on a few times. You know, we saw Toure find Aguero earlier on, and he was able to dart forward, and Toure did well to get a foot to that. Should have said Yaya and Kolo.
Another goal to go with this medal. Aguero, who was substituted in City's last final in 2014 by Jesus Navas, who came off the bench and scored the clinching goal.
That's poor.
Lallana went over Company. Liverpool have a free kick. They're in a hurry to take it. Coutinho has taken it. Firmino. So, given away all too easily to Sterling. And Sterling's off again. Aguero up ahead of him. Klein's tackle. Liverpool are preparing another change. Milner. Milner's cross, Caballero's hands. Origi. He's going to be thrown on, not Benteke. Nowhere for Chan to go, so Silva takes it back for City. Aguero. Punching through Milner. Getting away from Lucas. Aguero. Sterling! It won't go in for him.
Well, no wonder the hands are on the head again, because it's another chance that he should be doing an awful lot better with, because once it does come to him, and it's excellent play by Aguero, particularly to get past Lucas. The pullback's good, and he just doesn't time it right, Raheem Sterling. And there's often been a question mark about his finishing, and we've seen more evidence of that today.
Should be done and dusted for Pellegrini. As it is, he's going to have to take on board a few more silver hairs before it's out.
Well, look, Liverpool are not going to give up on this, Peter, but I'll tell you, if Manchester City do blow it from here, they'll be just a little angry with themselves.
Klein for Origi. Origi for Lallana, who looked to pirouette. But couldn't take the ball with him. Origi for Firmino, the change. Origi, whose major contribution to this League Cup run, a hat-trick for Liverpool in the quarter-final at Southampton.
Yeah, and I think you could see with Firmino and the fact that he was giving the ball away, I think, you know, some players begin to feel it at this stage, and he was clearly one.
Coutinho foraging from deep. Klein. Is there to be a late red rescue? Milner. Sturridge. Milner. Got a free kick.
Yeah, they've had their fair share at Liverpool. Now it's got to be good service, and I think he certainly made the most of that, James Milner.
So Chan has come forward. Lucas is forward. Origi is part of the mix now. Kolo Toure, of course, and a few bitten nails at the Liverpool end of the ground. 31,500 supporters each. Liverpool's in the west end of Wembley. Milner whipping it in, much too close to Caballero, wastefully so.
Yeah, and I mean, a guy who's put a lot into today, done a lot of running, and maybe it's catching up with him as well now.
Caballero's throw was terrific. Clichy. Just too much for Aguero, so Mignolet can come and get it and set Milner on his way. Lucas. Sturridge, Coutinho, Origi, on by Henderson, in goes Klein, Sturridge, Lallana against the post, Coutinho 1-1. Now it's red. Philippe Coutinho with 8 minutes to play. And we're right back where we started.
Well, it was never going to be a case of Liverpool kind of switching off and giving up, and particularly with Coutinho, who kind of began all that. And once it was fed to Daniel Sturridge, it's a smashing ball across. Lallana's unlucky because it's back off the upright, but Coutinho's just perfectly placed centrally, nobody near him, and all he's got to do is make sure he gets over it, keeps it down, and he does exactly that. And now it's when you look back on those incidents earlier in this half as to why Manchester City haven't got this done and dusted. Now it's a complete game changer.
You've got to love that man's character and body language, the way he lives the game. Philippe Coutinho, some of whose most glorious English moments have come against Manchester City. He scored at the Etihad in the big win this season. He scored famously in that spring of springs in recent terms for Liverpool when they beat City at Anfield en route to what at the time felt as though it may be the title. And now he's scored against City at Wembley Stadium, and it's a goal that may force extra time. He was booked, incidentally, for the removal of his shirt. But now Liverpool fancy winning it in 90 minutes. Sturridge eased off it by Clichy. City fancy winning it soon too. Clichy's gone over Chan. Chan is going to be booked.
Yeah, again, a kind of a tired effort on the part of Chan. Never looked like getting there. And Sturridge wanted a free kick on that, and that's not well timed at all from the German.
Well, the Liverpool end is absolutely bouncing now.
Yeah, they were made to wait. But eventually the kind of persistence paid off.
You've got to love scarves being twirled. It is so evocative of a generation gone by. City and their followers momentarily silenced, in though by Touré. Mignolet gets a paw on it, and Kolo Touré clears. And this is kid brother, Yaya. Sterling came down, and Mignolet made a save at very close quarters from Fernando.
Well, all Fernando needed to do was just poke at either side of Mignolet, and he probably gets a potential winner for Manchester City. Milner just had a little poke, didn't get there, and it's just gone at the goalkeeper. He's helped his cause. I mean, Mignolet's done well to get something on it, but there was room either side.
Out by Milner. Origi looking to twist away from Kompany, and Kompany's going to see yellow for that. 6 bookings in the game for Liverpool, 2 City. Putting his young countryman to ground. Milner drops the shoulder and gets away from Sanya. Just too much on it for Origi. Milner again. Lallana. Aimed up for Sturridge. Came back out for Henderson. Origi got a touch, which actually, if anything, took the pace off the ball.
Yeah, agreed. The sting was gone out of it by then. I mean, initially, I thought he might hit it first time, Sturridge, far post, going wide, until it struck Coutinho, maybe off the studs of Origi too.
Henderson. 2.5 minutes or 32.5 minutes.
It's never easy getting over the line in a final. Never.
Chan over the halfway line. Origi. Over comes Fernandinho, who might have been the match winner. Fernando. Toure. Aimed up for Silva. David Silva, deflection wide for a corner.
Yeah, and a big protest from Liverpool, and I'm not surprised because the match officials have missed that. It was a handball control from the initial pass to David Silva, and it wasn't seen clear use of the arm.
In by Sterling. Toure going in hard, and Mignolet throwing his frame in the way heroically. There's atonement for you.
Yeah, big time. It really is, because once this comes back to Toure, and he thinks he's just got to get his foot to it and it's in, and Mignolet had to be brave, knew he could possibly get hurt. But that's what's required now.
That's a couple of very decent stops since the one he let slither beneath him. Silva's outswinger onto the roof from Otamendi.
Yeah, I think Yaya Toure might have just got there before Otamendi, but Otamendi seemed kind of better placed to come from behind and get his head on it.
And so we're into the 90th minute, and in front of more than 86,000 supporters here. Two teams who will spend another couple of hours in each other's company at Anfield on Wednesday night, are adding, or on the point of adding, another 30 minutes to their mutual familiarity. There are going to be 4 stoppage time minutes.
Well, should we get to extra time, Manchester City will be really irked about the fact that they didn't get it won. Liverpool will gladly take it.
Sterling should have scored. Aguero should have had a penalty. Neither of those events came to pass. Coutinho equalised. And it's looking as though it's going to be a 2-hour final. And then a several-hour journey home.
And the Liverpool anthem in full voice.
Nobody's walking alone here. Origi at the back of Toure, who kept his composure in the ball very well, and then kept weaving his way forward. Sagna. Fernandinho. Around Lucas. Fernandinho's cross. Sterling's header loops kindly into the arms of Mignolet.
Yeah, I mean, Aguero looked at Sterling as if to say, you know, what about us two? Because just a little deeper with both Aguero and Silva. And again, it wasn't a good attempt to find either.
I'm thinking of this going to penalties and Raheem Sterling stepping up.
Yeah, well, I think Raheem Sterling will very much have that on his mind now. You know, whether he can do something before the final whistle goes, or certainly in extra time, because, as you mentioned just a moment or so ago, Peter, he's had 2 very good chances.
Sturridge is after it. Otamendi very calm. Fernando away. Toure is still down for City. Liverpool pondering whether they should play on. Their supporters wanted to. Chan did the decent thing.
Sporting.
Maybe that's why he felt obliged to.
Yeah, it was kind of a clash of bodies in the end. I mean, the studs didn't catch Yaya Toure and Chan. How have we not won it? That's what he's thinking.
Well, since the turn of the century, 5 League Cup finals have required extra time, and 3 of those have involved Liverpool. Against Birmingham 2001, Chelsea 05, and Cardiff in 2012. And it looks as though we are heading for a 6th period of extra time this century, 4 of which involve Liverpool, unless something very late and very dramatic now. Chan. Toure. Forward by Henderson. Laid off by Origi. Comes to Coutinho. Aimed in here towards Sturridge, and Sanya got there in the nick of time, though the flag, in fact, was up.
Yeah, Sturridge just only realised that now. I mean, Sanya wasn't to know that, and he felt that he had to deal with it, and did.
And that is the final action of the 90 minutes, and the 2016 Capital One Cup final requires 30 minutes more, because Philippe Coutinho came up with a Liverpool equaliser on 82 minutes after Fernandinho had established a lead for Manchester City. Between those two events, a big penalty shout and a big miss from Raheem Sterling. But at full time, it is Liverpool 1, Manchester City 1, and extra time follows.
How did that happen? How on earth did we get to extra time? Somehow, we'll have to play 2 15-minute halves to decide a winner. Jason McAteer, how are Liverpool still in this game?
I'm an emotional wreck. I don't know. I don't know. Raheem Sterling's 2 misses, the penalty. I mean, you know who I'm supporting, but that was a penalty. It was a sending off. You know, you're looking at 2-0, the game's over. But Liverpool have survived. The referee's made a horrendous mistake. Raheem Sterling's missed 2 glorious opportunities. Yaya Toure's missed one in the last 5 minutes there, a header, and then the follow-up shot. Sometimes in football, you think when things like that happen, is your name on the cup? And I think Liverpool fans might be just thinking, is our name on the cup? It was great that we got back in it, but it was a great second half, brilliant, full of everything.
Started very quickly with this. Talked about Mignolet's great save from Aguero. Listen, it's never easy when the goalkeeper is faced with a shot with great power going that close. But Lucas Leiva and Moreno don't sort out Fernandinho before he gets there, and they should have done. Full marks to him, hits it hard and low, but the goalkeeper should do better. And from that moment, they totally dominated the game, basically. At such an extent. I mean, I thought Yaya Toure was unbelievable, leaving gaps like this. Now, I've seen some bad decisions in cup finals through the years, Angus. Now, he might not have been sent off, because we can see there where Nathaniel Klein is. But what on earth does he not see, Michael Oliver, that makes him think that's not a penalty? Because if it's not, he should be booking Sergio Aguero for the most ridiculous of dives you've ever seen. It's one of the poorest decisions I've seen. Now, they might not have scored, but City deserved the opportunity to go 2 up. Mignolet might have saved it, they might have missed it. But there'll be an awful lot made of that by that man there, Pellegrini, if his side don't go on and win this.
And in the end, this happens.
A couple of bits of fortune for Liverpool there. Henderson's back heel brought a tackle, which then fell to Sturridge. It was the first bit of luck. You'll just see it here. He just tries to help it on to Sturridge. He makes a hash of it. The block there, it ends up falling to Sturridge. Great ball across. Lallana's unlucky, comes back off the post. The second bit of luck in that move as well.
Hits his shin. It hits him in the shin. He's got no idea where it is.
I'm taking it. I don't care.
It hits him in the shin.
And then a great finish. And then Liverpool are back in it.
That's what it says. You know, you see Aguero hit the post in the first half with this shot. It goes back to safety, it bounces off to Colatore. As soon as the penalty happened, I turned to Jason and says, Liverpool will win this now. I've seen it. You can smell it. You can sense it. These big decisions that don't go your way and the chances that Raheem Sterling missed, it was adding up to me and Liverpool players got that. They suddenly picked up the tempo. They suddenly thought, hey, hold on a minute.
Yeah.
We might just get something here. And that's what decisions that don't go your way and do go your way turn cup finals.
It's been a brilliant game.
Second half. Brilliant second half.
First half, like I said, it was full commitment, endeavour. There was desire from the Liverpool players, but there was a lack of quality. There was no shots on target, but it was still exciting. It was still kind of end to end, and it was as if it was a boxing match. They were both throwing blows at each other. But the second half, it's been brilliant. I mean, going back to the Moreno incident, well, firstly, the goal, it highlighted the lack of communication between Lucas and Moreno. I mean, why Lucas doesn't tell Moreno to take Fernandinho, take the runner?
You can see him, though. He shouldn't need to be told. You can see him coming.
But then I can't defend Moreno for the penalty incident. I mean, what is a left back, a defender? His job is to defend.
Just hanging out his leg.
In the box, though. Angus, that is... One, it's lazy, and two, it's just ridiculous. I mean, Andy said there, Klein had got across and he might not have been sent off, but it was a penalty.
I would have to give you that. It was definitely it was a definite penalty.
It was a penalty.
I wonder what he's thinking, that young man there.
Well, he could have put this game to bed.
He knows he's won the game. He's had two golden chances to win the game for his team against his old team.
I think it's
so big test of character here for him.
I think the occasion's got to him. I think one playing against Liverpool.
I mean, he's just missed two chances. I think he's played quite well.
He's been booed.
Missed.
Do you think he's played well?
I think he's done all right. Yeah, I do, Jace. I think he's done okay. He's not been brilliant, but I don't think anybody has in the game. But Pellegrini, my message if I was Pellegrini would be, listen, we've won this game once. For whatever reason, we sit level right now. We've got 30 minutes to win it again. It looks like they're going to use the first substitution of the game.
Yeah.
That might be a factor. Daniel Sturridge looks like he's running on empty. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes. Zabaleta's coming on. I think Sanya looked at the end, was saying he was running on empty.
Out of steam, didn't he? That's a good point. I mean, Liverpool have used all three subs. Man City have got three players to come on if they need them. Liverpool have done a lot of running in this game. Henderson, Milner, who's now gone to left back. They've worked their socks off in this game.
And Navas is coming on.
Sturridge looks off it now. Sturridge is sort of running out of steam a little bit. He hasn't had a great deal of football.
I wonder who's going off for Navas. It didn't look to be Sterling. I wonder if we've taken off Silva.
That's like for like. Sanya off. Fernando
taken off. Okay. I thought they might keep him on just in case they need to shore a few things up, but that's a positive one.
Back to Peter Drury, Gin Begley.
I understand Navas coming on because he's a pacey player. He can stretch Liverpool, and it makes perfect sense for Pellegrini.
So for the sixth time this century, the League Cup final moves into an extra time period. Raheem Sterling, for whom plenty weighs on his shoulders right now. Aguero. Zabaleta's first touch. Likewise Navas. Taking on Lallana. Supported again by Zabaleta. All over by Chan, who needs to be a bit careful. He's one of those in the book.
Yeah, you're right. Again, it wasn't the worst one. He hasn't looked to chop him or anything like that, so I don't think he was at serious risk then.
Zabaleta, another who played the full game in 2014 for City.
Yeah, Lallana kind of back there as well as just extra protection for Milner. You've got to remember now it's Milner who's playing left back, and he hasn't quite got the pace that Moreno has, and he's got to try and match Navas if he gets a chance to run, which Pellegrini would be wishing for. That's why he's brought him on.
Silva. To Mendy. Bitten off by Coutinho, rolled up towards Sturridge. He keeps it from Company. Lallana's gone beyond him. This pass didn't help Adam Lallana. City work it out here to Sterling. Tackled by Klein. Chan. Coutinho. Sturridge. Into a corner for Liverpool.
Yeah, he'll be happy with that. Keep the pressure on him, and I would have thought as well coming into extra time, because Liverpool got the equaliser when they did, it just gives them a little more enthusiasm and momentum. It doesn't necessarily guarantee anything, but you would expect them to be on the front foot.
Milner takes. Origi retrieves. Held up by Company. He's got away from Company. And Silva. Lallana's helped him out. Lallana has closed down Sterling. And he won't permit to escape.
Yeah, I mean, Klopp introduced Lallana, didn't he? And he had his moment by hitting the upright, which obviously then fell beautifully for Coutinho to tuck away. Prior to that, he'd had a couple of chances that didn't work out. And Coutinho well, delivered on a day when it was beginning to look unlikely for Liverpool.
Nowhere for Navas to go. Took on by Mignolet, back again from Company, out by Lucas. Clichy.
That's what you need at the back, good communication from your goalkeeper, and it appeared to arrive then.
He's recovered well, Mignolet, from his lowest moment of the game.
He has.
Coutinho. Sturridge. Neatly done. Origi. Klein. Henderson. Coutinho. Chan. Milner. Sturridge.
Stood on it.
So Fernandinho could dispossess him, and Navas can get started. Navas has hit it early and long towards Aguero. Silva. Sterling. He carried it out.
Yeah. And at the Liverpool supporters' end as well, that's gone down quite well.
Poor fella, you get the feeling he's got both sets of fans on his back. Raheem Sterling at the moment under massive personal pressure from the Liverpool section from the outset. The way things have transpired, there are one or two in City Blue who are exasperated on his behalf. There's an important touch from Navas, and it could set Zabaleta away. Aguero. Good cover from Lallana. Coutinho. Lallana. He's got goal side of Fernandinho. He gave him a push pretty blatantly.
Yeah. I mean, again, Fernandinho knows that he's caught wrong side, Lallana's goal side, so understandable that he's going to try something. I mean, Lallana did well just to cut across him a little bit as well, and he was knocked off balance.
Lucas. Milner. flying over. He certainly brought vigour and freshness from the bench with him.
Yeah, the ubiquitous Adam Lallana at the moment. He's popping up everywhere. And I mentioned right side so long ago, and now he's across on the other.
Zabaleta. Navas again hemmed in, doing very well to negotiate a way out. Touré's not moving quite right at the moment. Zabaleta is. Navas. No problem for Mignolet.
Needs help, Klein, and nobody's really offering anything. He's done well to find Henderson.
Company above Coutinho.
It's not a good challenge. Again, it's unnecessary from Company. He's too eager.
He's on a yellow card too.
Yeah, I mean, again, he was never going to get a second yellow for this. He's just basically trying to get over Coutinho, and he's barged in. They've eventually found the right spot to take the free kick from Liverpool.
And Henderson takes Lucas. Coutinho. Let it roll into the path of Zabaleta. Aguero challenged by Lucas in a manner which Michael Oliver was prepared to let go. Shifted forward towards Sturridge. Company is still wondering why City don't have a free kick.
Well, it looked like Lucas was just pulling at him. He seemed to kind of just pull at his right shoulder initially and knocked him off balance there. And he didn't quite recover. Ended up standing on his arm, on Lucas's arm, and went the rest of the way down, Aguero.
He understandably looks bemused.
Yeah, I mean, I think there was enough in that for a free kick to be given Manchester City's way.
Clichy. Has kept it from Touré. Silva. Clichy's got his throw. Minutes of the first period of extra time to play. Chan away from Silva for a corner. Minutes up. And Company up. And Touré up. And Otamendi up. Silva. Touré's got to fetch it. Driven against Klein and picked out by Mignolet. Henderson. Coutinho. Zabaleta got in the way of Origi, but here's Henderson again. Chan. Coutinho. Origi. There's a sweet turn, a rather sour shot.
I think he's right to turn because he knows that the space is there, but very ambitious from that range. And always, you're kind of hoping that there'll be kind of better technique on it and looking to get over the ball more.
There's nowhere to go from now on in. Jurgen Klopp, he was forced into one substitution early in the game. He subsequently brought on Lallana and Origi. City still have one in the bank if they choose to use it. Henderson, Lallana, Sturridge, Coutinho. Yeah, got a touch, it's a corner.
Yeah, it looked like Clichy. Just a little scrape off the studs. Yeah, and Liverpool just looking to try something different on this occasion rather than swing it in. Sturridge came short, but Manchester City have shut that down.
Lallana's corner. Lucas round the back. Coutinho going in. Up in the air by Otamendi. Flags up 2.
Yeah, it's this one now. There's a couple of them. But certainly Kolo Touré was the one it came closest to.
Only Kolo Touré, probably quite proud to be offside once in a game.
He was a winger for Arsenal once upon a time, wasn't he?
Yeah, true. Smashed out by Henderson.
I mean, you need your personalities in the team, your leaders now just talking, just keeping people alert. Keep the brain turning over.
Well, you know, Milner never stops moving or thinking. Thinking about Daniel Sturridge, though, Jim, he hasn't played much more than a single hour in any game for Liverpool since his return from injury. And now he's going to have to play a full 2 hours.
Yeah, agreed. Not ideal. And, you know, a lot of his injuries supposedly have been kind of muscle injuries. So I think, you know, for everybody behind Liverpool, I think hoping that there are no pulls or tears or no more problems for him.
Navas, Zabaleta wide. Aguero, Silva. Aguero hasn't stopped. Aguero! Mignolet threw out a hand and Touré came behind him to tidy up.
You can't take your eyes off Aguero for a second, but Jordan Henderson has used his got out of jail card because it was his little poke back that sent Aguero through.
Zabaleta. It'll just be a throw. It's safe to say, I think Simon Mignolet's got himself out of jail as well in the context of the whole game, because whilst he should have prevented the Manchester City goal that was scored, he's made a couple of saves in the game that he's entitled not to have made.
I agree. I mean, Aguero's just tried to kind of outfox him, hasn't he, by flicking it, and he read it brilliantly, Mignolet.
Half-time, extra time, and no addition, though. Sergio Aguero had a glimpse at goal then, in the aftermath of which he may well believe he should have established a second lead on the evening for Manchester City. But Mignolet stood up strong, made a good, strong-wristed save, and so with 15 minutes still to play, it remains Liverpool 1, Manchester City 1.
What do Manchester City have to do to score? The longer this goes on, the more you just feel that Liverpool may somehow get away with this and walk off with a trophy.
I told you our name's on the cup. I know we've been critical of Mignolet, but he's made 2 fantastic saves in this game, and one of them was obviously that one there off Aguero. He can't score today, can he? And Sterling. And you play in football matches, Angus, like this, and you know, your team like Liverpool, the players, they will be thinking, our name's on this.
In fairness, you don't play in many football matches like this.
You don't.
No, you don't.
But they do come around.
I know, but it is amazing how often they come around in a final. In a final. If this was a league match, you'd just be saying, well, do you know what? They'll take a point, City, because they've played really well. They should have won the game, but they haven't. But this is a cup final. There is a trophy presentation at the end of it. And they will be thinking, I know it, they will be thinking, what have we got to do? What do we need to do to get a goal? And Liverpool will just be thinking, if we hang on in here, we'll win this, either with a goal or on penalties. And that's just the way it seemed for such a long time in this game.
15 more minutes. If there is still nothing between these two sides, we will go to penalties. Let's return you to Peter Drury and Jim Begley.
In Cardiff, and against Cardiff, here at Wembley just 4 years back. So as a club they have that experience, as individuals that is not necessarily the case. Either side would rather spare itself that torture. The sense, Jim, is certainly that City should have won it by now, of course, but also, is it fair to say that City appear to have a little bit more left in the tank?
Yeah, perhaps, but listen, the way the 90 minutes went, you just can't be sure on that. Yes, Manchester City overall probably merit the victory. There's no doubt with the chances they've managed to create. They should have put it away. They haven't. And I think if you're wearing a red shirt down there now, you're probably thinking, this is our day. This is going our way. I mean, after Aguero was denied again in the first half of extra time by Mignolet a short time ago, Manchester City players must be thinking, what have we got to do?
Lallana, Henderson, Klein, Coutinho, Henderson, Chan, Sturridge. Zabaleta has played comfortably more than an hour less than he has. He looks correspondingly fresher and stronger.
Yeah, and he's made his presence felt. There's been some good interceptions, good strong tackles from him.
Sturridge put through by Fernandinho. Turning here is Silva, who's asked too much of Sterling.
Yeah, we're talking about Sturridge and his injury history as well, and how this passage might affect him. He looks a little fatigued himself now, and he's not as sharp as we've seen.
See whether he's picked on Wednesday night against City.
Well, I think between now and Wednesday, whatever the outcome here today is, I think the Masseurs are going to be busy.
Here is Sturridge, and now here is Origi. Lifted up towards Sturridge here, Lallana were in each other's way.
Yeah, well, again, presumably there's a shout from Sturridge, and Lallana doesn't pick up on it.
Toure running at his brother.
Colo's enjoyed that, and Yaya looks as if he's done some damage.
But Liverpool are playing on. Henderson, Milner, James Milner, company in the way. Milner again, and Klein, and Coutinho going in there, and Sturridge snatching at it. And Milner keeping it in. Origi! Caballero saved! And Clichy lofted it clear. Lucas. Klein. He's gone over. And Otamendi is going to be booked.
Yeah, well, that's what I meant when I said that. You know, Manchester City aren't guaranteed to go on and do it. It's not a good challenge from Otamendi. He dived in. But fantastic work by Milner to actually set Origi up with the chance. And Origi's done very well, far post to actually get there, to just get something on it. He can't really control where it's going, and Caballero is well placed, and the goalkeeper has obviously done very well just to be there and beat it away.
Clock was nearly there. Origi denied, but it is a Liverpool free kick, and this is Coutinho territory. Wilfred Bonney has come on for Manchester City in place of David Silva. Back from a period on the sidelines, Bonney potentially to be a late and dramatic hero. Coutinho, Henderson, Sturridge behind this free kick for Liverpool. Sturridge! Caballero had a good view of it.
Yeah, it was good anticipation by the Argentine. I mean, he's kind of darted across and he's actually touched one post and then made the journey across to the other.
Aguero kept it in, but it was Milner who profited. Lallana. Chan for Kolo Touré. Lallana. Milner. Touré. Henderson. Escaped Yaya Touré. And fed Milner. It's Milner's cross! Origi just had to get a stud on it.
Well, that's what he was trying to do. He knew that any sort of contact, even uncontrolled, might just do enough.
Coutinho. Only Origi ahead of him. There is Origi. Now Sturridge joining. Coutinho. To steal Sturridge back in.
Yeah, and that's how close he got. Origi, just anything, and it just changes the direction and gives the goalkeeper a real problem.
Body. Back by Milner, and Aguero spared him by lifting it over.
Well, I don't know what James Milner is thinking about here, because this decision just is bonkers. And again, you can only assume that tiredness has just kind of kicked in and his brain's feeling it. I mean, he could have left it to Kolo Touré just to kind of clear it upfield. Well, he could have had a hat-trick.
Hasn't played any first-team football since coming on for the last quarter of an hour. Watford right back at the start of January. Here's Navas. Zabaleta, what a challenge that is from Lucas.
Yeah, and nice to see the South American competition so spirited. I mean, it was brilliantly timed by Lucas, and it was nice to see a Brazilian and an Argentine have a little handshake.
Doesn't often happen. Here's Navas with the corner. 7 minutes to play. Navas, Otamendi. Up in the air by Origi. Didn't quite fall for Coutinho. It is though a Liverpool throw. Yaya Touré went down very soon after that near skirmish with his brother. Is not moving smoothly. All substitutions now made.
Yeah, I mean, typical as well of Klopp's adversary, Pellegrini, in kind of making the change. You know, Silva goes off and he just gets another striker in. I mean, always a commitment to attack from the Chilean.
Fernandinho. guarded by Coutinho. Company with a little more time. Sterling still might have his moment. Poked away from Aguero by Kolo Touré. Henderson with urgency. Sturridge with a rather tired-looking return pass. Yaya Touré, Wilfred Bony. He ought to be tired. Navas likewise. Navas against Lucas. Milner sets Origi on his way. Sturridge just chugging up on the far side. He can barely keep up now. Origi holds it up though.
That's good work by Company. I mean, that's all he needed to do, just keep it alive, Origi. He probably should have, but he did well to disrupt all that.
Clichy, Body. Kolo Touré had to get there first.
Well, you're reaching that territory now where it's even more horrible to lose it.
Whatever happens now, it's been a good final. A lot of talking points in it. Final that City have almost won once. They'll have to try and win again. Foul on Body. And now some nasty aftermath. Really nasty aftermath. Lallana and Yaya Touré having to be dragged away each from the other. After going nose to nose.
Yeah, the referee penalised Lallana for sliding in on Bony to begin with, and Yaya Touré didn't like the style of the tackle, and he reacted, and then Lallana just seemed to lose it after. There's the sliding tackle. Now watch, Yaya Touré just went in high on Lallana, and that's what infuriated the Liverpool man. But he was never going to win that battle. I mean, Touré almost tossed him to one side at one stage, and then he stuck his arm around his neck. That's shocking, and that's why Lallana's so incensed. And to be perfectly honest with you, Michael Oliver should be penalising that. He has. Lallana yellow carded also.
He's put a pair of them. One can never condone a reaction like Lallana's, but I guess one can understand it. And Yaya Touré's challenge was one that might have inflamed any fellow professional. Regardless, it is a Manchester City free kick. There'll be, you would think, a minute or so added on for that stoppage. Touré takes. Away by Lallana. Wide again from Fernandinho. Navas. Touré. Navas. Tired tackle from behind by Coutinho. And a late chance for City to get the ball into the mix here.
I mean, Navas knew he was potentially going down a cul-de-sac, and I think he was wanting Coutinho to make contact with him so he could just hit the ground.
90 seconds of 2 hours football to play. Yaya Touré playing now more or less at a walking pace. Before he takes his free kick, there's problem. Well, this is a predictable problem for Daniel Sturridge, who you can only suspect has a nasty dose of the cramp here. I wouldn't want him on a penalty. Touré's take, up and over his own crossbar by Lucas. I'm told that ahead of that free kick, Fernandinho of Manchester City was showed a yellow card. So that's 5 from either side who've been booked. Sterling's corner. Out to Coutinho, but Liverpool don't have much of an outlet, especially with Sturridge limping pretty ineffectually now. It's going to be one added minute. Forward by Clichy, on by Bonney. Here's Navas, behind by Klein.
Yeah, well, one more for Liverpool to weather, and we've got spot kicks.
Only Zabaleta remains back for City. Navas takes the corner, and Bonney went for the same ball as Fernandinho.
Yeah, and I think that's why you're seeing the reaction from him. And I know there was a little nudge from Bonney which didn't help his cause, but maybe he felt he should have got more on it. Fernandinho.
Well, they're used to seeing penalties in the League Cup final, those Liverpool supporters. It's almost certainly going to happen again. Over the top by Henderson. Sturridge didn't start his run because he knew of himself that he was offside. It's going all the way to the wire. Been a terrifically watchable final.
No. The final will be decided from 12 yards. Who picks up the trophy? Jurgen Klopp or Manuel Pellegrini will be back for penalties after this very short break. Brian Kidd working out who will be taking those Manchester City penalties to decide who wins the Capital One Cup for 2016. Liverpool have never lost a cup final shootout. They are 5 from 5. That's not what you wanted to hear, Jason. Come on, go in with confidence. I haven't put the kibosh on that at all.
Well, let's hope not. Liverpool obviously got the #1 keeper in. Caballero was obviously in for City. And then you're just looking at the penalty seekers for Liverpool. I'm going to go Milner, Henderson, Chan, Coutinho, Sturridge. Question mark over Sturridge because he is feeling possibly a bit of cramp. He might not want to take one, but there you go.
How many managers do you get doing that before your team takes a penalty?
Not many. I'm not sure it makes a lot of difference. Fans love it. Love all this, yeah.
I think he'd take one if he could.
He would, wouldn't he?
Whoa. I'm not so sure.
Well, Jurgen Klopp has lost his last 3 cup finals. The DFB Cup with Dortmund, the Champions League final at Wembley, and lost successive German Cup finals in 2014 and 2015.
Nothing much they can do now. They make their selections, they choose them. The players, there's a lot of these players really tired. We've mentioned a couple who are running on empty. Yaya Toure running on empty. Daniel Sturridge running on empty. A few others are the same. They've now got to just suck it in for one 70-metre walk, basically 60-metre walk, and have the confidence, having just had that 5 minutes, just to get some breath back in the lungs.
He's not worried about. There's a few English penalty takers on Liverpool's team.
Well, it's a big call from Raheem Sterling, isn't it?
And what else? This is something that Richard Keys and I talk about, Angus, a lot. Is that here we are at a big stadium with fans at either end. Why can't we take penalties at either end? Why can't Liverpool take their penalties at the Liverpool end and City take theirs in the City end? We have 4 officials, 2 linesmen, 2 referees. There's no reason why that couldn't happen. I just think to flip a coin and then what they got over there, obviously they're going to hit
the Man City end. Yeah.
So I just don't see in a final like this, in a big game, as why you can't take penalties at the end your fans are at.
Do you think it matters?
Well, I don't know, because I've never done it, but
I've taken a penalty. I've taken a penalty in the playoff semi-final. It was still.
But you not think the Liverpool fans would like to see your penalties being taken at your end?
Yeah, but of course they would.
Yeah.
But as for the players, I don't know. I think they're completely focused on what they've got to do. I don't know whether the crowd behind them play any. Didn't for me.
He didn't look the last time Liverpool had a penalty shootout. He closed his eyes and waited for the fans' reaction.
Got my eyes closed.
Here, Peter Drury and Jim Beglin to take you through to the conclusion.
Emre Can, he has a nerve.
I'll say. That's a brave decision to make, because if the keeper stands his ground, you start to look a little foolish. He gambles on Caballero moving, and it paid off.
Fernandinho opened the scoring for Manchester City early in the second half. Even that recently, it seems a lifetime ago. And it is he now who steps forward to take first for his team. Mignolet, the star of the semi-final shootout, may consider himself culpable for Fernandinho's goal. Fernandinho hits the base of the post, and Liverpool have the advantage.
Well, he's picked a spot and he's just miscalculated slightly. And he's just looking to stick it in that bottom corner. Looks as if he had Mignolet beaten, and he just got it wrong.
Here comes Lucas, who, for the most part, has played a terrific hand at centre-half today. It was he who converted the penultimate Liverpool penalty against Stoke in the semi-final. And Caballero makes a fine stop. Perhaps he guessed the right way, but having gone the right way, he got a lot behind it, and he had a fair way to go.
Well, he did, but it's not bang in the corner. I mean, it's a nice height as well for the goalkeeper, and I think it's a combination of both. It's a very good save, but it's not the greatest penalty from Lucas.
Jesus Navas. Navas! He did pick his corner. Mignolet was close to saving it. Close but no cigar.
Yeah, well, he's really pumped after this, Navas. Picked his corner and just got enough behind it.
And so Philippe Coutinho, whose equalising goal 8 minutes before the end of the 90, has dragged us this far. He missed against Carlisle way back in September, when Brendan Rodgers was sitting in his seat. Coutinho hesitates and fails.
Well, what a turnaround. After Fernandinho misses Manchester City's first, they're now in a position to go ahead, and again, I think it's not a good penalty. We saw the hesitation. It's not hit with any real pace, and that's more comfortable for Caballero, who's growing into a hero here.
So from behind, City now look to their principal goal scorer to achieve an advantage. Sergio Aguero. Impeccable. And City lead 2-1 with 2 each to take.
Well, I mean, you just want a cool head in a position like that, and Sergio Aguero provided it for fun. I mean, it's really well placed, always out of the Belgians' reach.
It's got to be Adam Lallana. He also missed against Carlisle, but scored the first one against Stoke in the semi. Off the bench with energy and aggression and will. Lallana, brilliant! What a stop that is from Caballero. Match point, Manchester City. Score now and they've won it.
Well, what a save this is, because he does go at it with power. Lallana, again, not banging the corner, and that is a wonderful, wonderful stop from Willy Caballero.
That is no ordinary penalty save. He's gone both ways, Caballero, in the shootout.
That's a trophy set up for Yaya Toure, and Adam Lallana can only look to the heavens.
Yaya Toure at something beneath walking pace. He's not milking his moment, that's what he's got left. Struggling on the face of it to put one foot in front of the other. But with this kick, he can win the trophy for Manchester City. Yaya Toure! The ribbons will be City blue! It is Manchester City's Capital One Cup again! After 1 year on someone else's shelf, it is bound for the Etihad once more. A club obliged to win trophies in the 21st century has its first trophy, the first trophy of 2016. Toure insisted on it.
Yeah, and Mignolet again has guessed right and almost gotten something on it, but all it needed was to be far enough in the corner with enough pace, and the Ivorian is obliged, and Manchester City can just go into celebratory mode, and Manuel Pellegrini gets something on an upcoming departure.
This charming man has his charming moment. They won it in 2014 and followed it up with the Premier League title. They have won it now in 2016, and there is a principal reason why. Caballero with his moment. Goalkeepers love a shootout. They love a shootout when it goes like that.
And a nice touch from Company as well, who, rather than go and celebrate after the winning penalty was scored by Yaya Toure, went to commiserate with the Liverpool players, which was a really nice touch.
A week in their lives, a week in the life of their deputy goalkeeper, who this time last week was dealing with having shipped 5 at Stamford Bridge, and 7 days on is now being crowned the hero of the Capital One Cup final.
Well, as they say, Peter, a week in football is a long, long time.
And you cannot help but feel pleasure for Manuel Pellegrini, who, through all the ebbs and flows, the slings and arrows, conducts himself with exceptional dignity and is entitled to that broadest of smiles as Caballero is chaired and paraded in front of City's travelling hordes.
Well, I asked the question at the beginning of the match. Was it a risk to play Willy Caballero in goal for Manchester City? What a ridiculous question that was.
Why don't you ask it again?
maybe not. One of the more stupid questions I've asked in my career. He was sensational in that.
Make no mistake about it. These were saves of the highest quality. There wasn't a poorly struck penalty. They were all struck, there you go, firm, you know, with pace. The only thing you would say, were they at a decent height? Well, it doesn't matter, you know, because unless you put them right in the corner, these goalkeepers these days, if they guess the right way, they've got a real good chance to do it. He was sensational. 3 brilliant saves.
Outstanding, outstanding. Obviously, I'm devastated and disappointed with the outcome, but I think on the face of it, you know, Manchester City, they probably did deserve it with the chances they created, the penalty appeal. That should have been a penalty. Liverpool, Lady Luck was with them for a long, long period in that game, and you know they just couldn't get over the line. I thought for 1 minute, you know, their name was certainly Liver was on that trophy. Yeah. But when it went to penalties, obviously it could go either way, and you know heroes come when needed, and Caballero was outstanding.
I wonder if he was down for the 5th penalty if it was needed.
Interesting. Yeah.
It would have been interesting. You know, but it was watching it, I was just saying to you, 3 Brazilians stepped up to the penalty spot, and 3 Brazilians missed. Extraordinary.
I think as well Liverpool's penalties weren't, like Andy said, they weren't bad penalties. They were firmly struck. They were, you know, probably the only one I was disappointed with, but it went in, was Chan's. I mean, you're risking something, you know.
They went the right way, the goalkeepers, for every penalty apart from Chan chipping it down the middle, and that's credit to them as goalkeepers for doing the homework, watching the shape of a person running up to take it now, and having a little idea about where they might go.
Aguero's was fantastic as well. I mean, for a player who's probably thinking it's not his afternoon, he's had a few chances and it's not gone for him. That might have played in his head with that long walk. That's a nice.
That's nice.
Yeah.
The boys have got to pick themselves up now. They play them again, don't they, on Wednesday?
Yes.
Pick themselves up and go again. We've got the Europa League, we're still in that, and still going for that 5th place.
Now, a couple of people that breathed a sigh of relief, him and Michael Oliver.
Didn't he?
Because there's absolutely no doubt that his decision, had Manchester City lost that, would have been debated long and hard into the night and tomorrow morning. But thankfully for him, it doesn't really matter. But for Manuel Pellegrini, I could not be more pleased. I think that he is a man with dignity. The commentators mentioned it. He's dealt with everything that's come his way, good and bad, and he's just got on and done his job. And he's always played football to win football matches. He never takes, very often, a backward step. And so as for him, I'm really pleased. The worst walk in the world.
It is a long old walk now, is it? It used to be 39 steps, and now it's about 100 and whatever steps.
They go actually out now.
Out and in.
And out and back in.
It's nonsense, isn't it? It's a dreadfully designed stadium.
It is. For that. Yeah, they've taken away a bit of the atmosphere and a bit of the...
I mean, this is... Yeah,
Wembley's
it is a nonsense.
It's not like old Wembley. What's a special place that
Can I ask as well, why are they going up the opposite way from where you used to? You used to go up the right side of old Wembley, come down the left. Yeah. Am I right in thinking these are all walking up the left side? There you go.
Yes.
They
go up the right, and then they go underneath where the blue thing is.
The left.
See the blue ticker thing?
They've gone up the left. Yeah, I agree. I think
going up the left.
That is a different way, yes.
Oh, are they? Yeah, they're going up the left.
Is that to stop you going inside then?
I don't. No idea. But they've gone up the left. I don't get
absolutely.
it. Which is a strange one.
Obviously, all the Liverpool fans were sitting underneath that sign. It's no place to lose. Wembley.
That feeling is tough.
Oh, it takes you a while to get over it. I'm still 20 years on and I still haven't got over it. It's not a place to lose. There's tears and, you know, and a League Cup final as well. You've got to go again in 3 days, like I mentioned, the FA Cup final. You get all summer really to sort of dwell on what's gone on, but at least there's no football.
My last game for Everton was at Wembley, lost it.
Was it?
Won for the treble, lost it against United. Not a nice feeling.
Well, it looks like Daniel Sturridge didn't even bother picking up a medal. He went and did his bit, walked past, carried on going. Jurgen Klopp, 4 finals in a row he has missed. Lost, sorry. He has lost 4 finals in a row. Tough old feeling.
Good final, though. I really enjoyed it.
For the neutral, fantastic.
It was a slow burner for the first half. The goal right at the beginning of the second half, that meant Liverpool. See, moving up the left.
Yeah, the left, exactly.
Liverpool had to come out and at least try and do something.
I know it wasn't a great first half, but you know there was some fascinating battles going on in and around Sterling and Klein, and you know it was interesting, but it was a slow burn. And second half I thought was outstanding.
Well, City last won a penalty shootout at Wembley in 1999. That was against Gillingham in a League One playoff.
Wow.
They've come rather a long way since then.
Just a tad.
Let's hand you back to Peter Drury for the trophy presentation.
The Premier League is still makeable, reachable. They have the goals of Aguero. They didn't flow today, but you still feel this is just one of many.
Well, I think you've got to look back on their season and the fact that Aguero's had more problems with injury. He's been absent. Silva was absent. Company, of course, a huge player missing from them, and certainly missing when Liverpool beat them 4-1 back in November. So a lot has changed, and this has got to do Manchester City a power of good with what's to come, and particularly Company. I think he's made a big difference at the back, his composure, his leadership, and I think he's had a calming effect on 1 or 2 others too.
And so we come to the 56th presentation of the Football League Cup. the fourth in its life as the Capital One Cup. 46 years since the first time, since Doyle and Pardew. 40 years since Barnes and Dennis Stewart's overhead kick. Just 2 years since the last time. And this time, courtesy of a penalty shootout in which Willie Caballero wrote himself indelibly into the club's history books.
Yeah, and I think when we look back on everything, I think the referee might have been saved from a scathing comment or two from Manuel Pellegrini over denying Manchester City a penalty appeal, which looked extremely valid at one stage.
This has become part of the tradition. For the fourth time in their history, the Football League Cup becomes the property of Manchester City.
So the day belongs to Manuel Pellegrini in his final season in charge at Manchester City. The day belongs to Manchester City. They are the winners of the 2016 Capital One Cup. Willie Caballero, the hero of the penalty shootout. Barcelona against Sevilla follows us now. But from everyone in the studio, it's goodbye.